It's a game. We asked him whether he'd like to be seeing more action.
You know, sometimes I get a little upset when I play 18 minutes and then I don't play well. Then I start blaming it on the minutes, which ain't fair. So, you know, some nights I play 15 minutes, some nights I play 25 minutes. I'm yet to play 30 minutes as an NBA player, so, you know, I just got to go in there and go hard as I can while I'm playing. So I'm not going to put no pressure on Butch. But if it was like Chuck Daly, I'd have been giving him all hell.
Now there's a guy who enjoys life. Butch Beard has used 11 different players to start games this season. Tonight it'll be Armin Gilliam with Bradley, P.J. Brown, Kenny Anderson, who's been benched in some fourth quarters recently, with Kevin Edwards at the 2 guard. Well, as we mentioned, we wanted to look up close to what has brought the Knicks to this point of the season. A team meeting, a crisis, are they coming apart or ready to pull together? This is the MCS Cannon Knicks game night.
You know, when we do go small, that we find a way to create each other better shots.
Patrick is not here, and that's something we understand. And we just have to play ball. We have to play smarter, and we have to play harder. Simple as that.
Don Nelson was the coach who had given Anthony Mason 44 minutes a game. Still, Anthony Mason said he was
very frustrated, you know, because you don't know what you're going to do from game to game. We want to do one thing, we go inside one game, outside the next, all around on cold. You don't know what you're going to do from game to game, man. You know, at least you got to establish identity one way or another. You're going to play with force this way, you're going to do it that way, and make a team change style of play. You don't change, you know, just change it from game to game.
What did you feel should have been the style tonight?
I don't know. You got a team that plays a lot of one-on-one post defense. You punish them inside. You know, they got some big people, but they're not no great shot blockers. You got some bonus that maybe can block a shot in Dudley, but you got to go at them. You know, you got to go at their big people. We was bailing them out. You know, sometimes they wasn't even back on defense. We letting it fly. They going on fast breaks. That's their game running. We gave it to them.
Is this something that's happened lately?
The last few games, we just been doing some crazy stuff.
Is that because Patrick's not here?
I guess. I guess that's why. I'm not sure. You got to ask him. You got to ask the man calling the shots.
He had as many catches last night as he normally does. He had 25 catches in the paint, and that's about what he gets. 20, you know, right around the 20 area, 20, 25.
I don't even know 25 touches in the coach.
We win inside, you know, and teams are going to double team us and take the ball out of the post on most occasions. You know, Mace can score down there, so that's why he wants the basketball down there. That's not a problem.
People have their own opinions about everything, but we seem to get defensive over things that we shouldn't get defensive about, you know. And I'm not going to get defensive about some moves I make, and the players shouldn't worry too much about it.
Michael Kay with the locker room questions. Producer Anthony Fucilli on the scene yesterday, where the Knicks had their 30-minute closed-door meeting. What's the result going to be? Well, observers at today's shoot-around said players were joking. The mood was light, as if there was nothing wrong at all. It's the Knicks and the New Jersey Nets tonight at Madison Square Garden, and Bob Page and Mike Kay will focus on the Nets when we continue on the MCS Cannon Knicks game night.
Providence visits St. John's to battle the storm in a Big East Conference showdown. Saturday night, right here on MSG.
Looking to have some remodeling work done in your home or office? Then call 1-800-REMODEL today and get in touch with the experienced people at Jarrow Building Industries. When you call Jarrow at 1-800-REMODEL, you'll be working with talented professionals who will take you through every critical step of your remodeling project, designed to fit your budget. Jarrow Builders has been providing quality remodeling work for over 29 years and offers a 3-year warranty on workmanship and materials. Call Jarrow Builders today at 1-800-REMODEL and begin to work with the best.
I'm a Grand Prix winner. Took a dye gel, but other than that, the thing that I'm saying is that you'd be the first guy to rip George Steinbrenner for making decisions and running the club from the front office.
And I have been among the first.
Right, you'd be the first guy to do that because that's you. But now the Nets owners let the basketball people run it, and you have a problem with that. Now, I agree. They've let the wrong person run it.
Did Willis Reed make the Kenny Anderson draft choice? He did not. Who did? He was told by management that's who you're taking.
Has that ever been made publicly?
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Willis can't stand up and say that, but they have been hinting at this, and it is common knowledge that Willis Reed did not make that draft choice.
Pretty much they've let Willis Reed run this club. If you have a problem with the Nets, it's the fact that Willis Reed's made the wrong decisions.
No, I
think that the fact that they have actually let a basketball man, for the most part, make the decisions rather than keep butting in all the time, I think that's admirable. And I think that if it was another way around, if they kept butting in, firing coaches, firing GMs, we'd all have a problem with that. It seems that in New York, nobody ever really likes the way things go. When the Mets don't sign free agents, they don't spend enough money. When the Yankees sign free agents, they're trying to buy a pennant. When the Nets let their basketball people run the team, well, they're not doing enough to change things. It's got to be one way or the other. I think that you just put your faith in the people that's supposed to know. Obviously, they picked the wrong person in this case. And
Are you saying Willis should be fired?
Willis probably should go sooner or later. I don't know if it should be this year. I don't like to cost anybody their
Well, I've
job.
only got a litany of about 7 transgressions he's made over the years. You talked about drafting Derek Coleman, then signing him to the ridiculous contract, having to trade him away for
Coleman wasn't a
Sean
mistake.
Badley.
That wasn't a mistake.
Drafting a cancer like Derek Coleman?
He's a great talent. He's a great talent.
He's a great talent.
They were not able to bring into the house.
Drafting Stinkadare. When they needed a shooting guard, drafting Rex Walters first. You can go on and on and on about this stuff. And, Michael, I would suggest to you that no matter what these guys do, even if they get a great basketball man, and even if they win, this franchise is never going to make it in New Jersey.
I disagree.
We are seeing what's happening with the Devils right now. They win the Stanley Cup, and again, the Meadowlands is empty most of these nights. They're not going to make it.
I totally disagree. Let's just say Michael Jordan somehow had ended with the Nets and was the same type of player. You cannot tell me that the Nets would not sell out the Continental Airlines Arena. You just cannot tell me that they wouldn't. If they have a successful team, they're going to get decent crowds in there. I don't think there's a lot of hockey fans in New York anyway. So the Devils won the Cup. Most of the hockey fans are the Ranger fans anyway. So it's hard to compare that with that. If the Nets put a good product on the floor, I think they'd get people in that arena. I really do. For the last 10 years, they've been awful. So why should people come? I never, ever tell people how to spend their entertainment dollar. They shouldn't go see the Nets.
The latest guy to take this franchise over as we go to break is Michael Rowe. We'll hear nothing but good things about Rowe, and now we'll see what he does with the New Jersey Nets. And I still say they just ain't going to make it there. But we'll continue right after these breaks.
You're watching MCS Channel Knicks Game Night on MSG.
Once again, experts are predicting an easy winner.
For Jeep Cherokee Sport owners anyway, its 190 horsepower engine, four-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes turn even the harshest conditions into a day at the beach. And now get no charge air and a lease rate of just $289 a month with no money down. Jeep Cherokee Sport, the perfect way to turn a wild winter into a mild winter.
Now lease a Jeep Cherokee Sport for just $289 a month with zero down.
The Mecca, Madison Square Garden, presents another fabulous night of boxing magic. January 12th, Roy Jones Jr., pound for pound the world's greatest fighter, takes on Brooklyn's Mercy Sosa, the hard hitter with a jaw of granite. Jones versus Sosa, pound for pound, Broadway bound. Also featuring top heavyweights Tim Witherspoon versus Ice Cole, as well as Lou Savarese and Michael Grant. Tickets at the Garden box office and Ticketmaster. Pound for pound, Broadway bound. January 12th at the Garden.
Ewing with the step. Nobody Beats the Wiz is a proud sponsor of New York Knicks basketball on MSG Network.
Calling all kids, Nickelodeon's Mega Messamania live by Fruit.
Hey, Ranger fans, show your true colors. On Wednesday, January 10th, when the Rangers take on the San Jose Sharks, the first 3,500 fans wearing Rangers apparel will receive a free gift, courtesy of the New York Rangers, Lilac, and Model Sporting Goods. That's Wednesday, January 10th, when the Rangers battle the Sharks. Look for more Rangers Blue Shirt Nights throughout the season. Sponsored by Lilac and Model Sporting Goods. Gotta go to Mode.
Welcome back. Speaking of Derek Coleman, as Michael and I just were, he kind of snuck back into the 76ers lineup last night after missing 9 games with what must have been the most severely sprained ankle in NBA history. Coleman started, scored just 14 points on 5 of 14 shooting. The Sixers lost at Oakland 112-111. If you saw that box score, you may have noticed that former St. John star Chris Mullin shot 0 for 7 and scored 0 points for the Warriors off the bench. Both Mullin and Tim Hardaway are now out of the starting lineup, they're reserves. But the Warriors, after a slow start, are 7-4 with the duo coming off the bench, so neither man, we understand at least, is complaining much for now. Also last night, big matchup in Chicago between the two teams that have won between them the last 5 championships. Scottie Pippen and the Bulls against Houston. Pippen shot only 6 for 22, an off night for him, but Chicago was up 17 at halftime. And despite Mark Bryant scoring here in the second half, the Bulls were up as many as 26 in the third quarter. Michael Jordan had 20 of his game-high 38 points in the second half, and the Bulls won 100-86. And after playing just 15 minutes off the bench in the Celtics' overtime loss at home last night to the Portland Trail Blazers, an angry D. Brown demanded to be traded. Even after a meeting with ML Carr today, Brown reiterated his demand.
I want my career to progress. I don't want to be stagnant. I don't want to sit here and be stagnant and not be used the way I know I can't. At 27 years old, I still can run and jump basketball, still small enough to make 18 get to the next level. And I was feel like at this time it gets to that point. If I was a selfish individual, I would be happy making $3+ million a year. Say, well, you know, I can get a chance to, you know, expand my career another 2 or 3 years after this contract. That's not the point.
Now we invite you to stay tuned as the Knicks entertain the New Jersey Nets coming up next here on Madison Square Garden Network.
MCS Cannon Knicks Game Night has been brought to you by MCS Cannon. Let us show you the possibilities. By your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. And by Payne Weber.
Gee, it's fast.
Exactly.
Sir, the car's waiting on your name in light.
Exactly.
And there's a canopy to protect us from the weather.
Exactly.
You know, sir, this is just like the States.
Not exactly, Wilson. You're on the wrong side of the road.
Sorry, sir.
And now Mobil presents our sleek new nozzles. They're easier to use and 30% faster. Pick one up today.
The nation's best high school basketball teams and players collide at the world's most famous arena, the Chemical Bank Super 6 High School Basketball Classic, January 7th at Madison Square Garden. First, St. Patrick's battles Holy Cross, featuring All-American Shaheen Holloway of St. Patrick's and Holy Cross's Willie Church. Next, it's a battle of two national powers as St. Anthony faces St. Raymond. Then Patterson Catholic, led by Tim Thomas, the nation's top senior, takes on Powerhouse Robeson. The Chemical Bank Super 6 High School Basketball Classic, presented by Adidas and Foot Locker. Get tickets now.
Strong move by Mason off the hip fake, and he drove it.
Payne Weber is a proud sponsor of New York Knicks basketball on MSG Network.
Don Nelson took in a Broadway show last night, and it must have felt great to escape for a couple of hours from the conflict that has threatened to undermine his team. Players have been grumbling about him, each other, and it hasn't helped. They've lost 3 straight while Patrick Ewing's ankle heals. One of the reasons they've struggled is the parade of United Nations big men they've been facing. On Friday, it was the 7'7" Romanian, George Mirasan. 2 nights ago, Lithuanian star Arvydas Sabonis at 7'3" exposed the Knicks' lack of height inside. The General Assembly at the Garden was less than pleased. Now, a very tall Mormon is in the building. 7'6" Sean Bradley, who seems to be adjusting very well to life across the river. Not rave reviews, but not bad. Coming up, the Knicks will try to top him and take a step towards emotional recovery. You know, something to build on. The network of the Knicks welcomes you live to the world's most famous arena. And tonight at the Garden, it's the Nets and the Knicks. In the Atlantic Division, you see the story of both teams. The Knicks have lost 3 in a row, but still are 9 games above 500, 3.5 back of Orlando. The Nets are coming off a win over Milwaukee that ended a 3-game losing streak of their own. They are a disappointing 11-17. Here at the Garden, the cameras, the film that'll provide the pictures for tomorrow's back page. What is the headline going to be? The Knicks come together or remain apart? Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our coverage of Knicks basketball on MSG. Yeah, today we're going to see the result of yesterday's 30-minute closed-door meeting between the embattled Knicks. Will they pull together and beat the Nets, or will they stay apart and give the Nets a chance to win? For more on tonight's game, let's go to Marv Albert and John Andres.
Yes, Al, the major topic of conversation concerning the Knicks, as Al mentioned, that 30-minute closed-door session at practice yesterday as the Knicks hope to clear the air on a number of topics. And here are some reactions to that private get-together.
When you lose games, you know, we've lost 3 out of 4 games, 3 in a row. I think it's good for a coach to pull his team together and try and iron out a few things. Obviously, we're not playing consistent enough to win, and we have to find a way to do that at this point.
You know, everybody agree we got to get back to defense first. You know, that's going to carry it.
We're going to go through highs and lows. You know, this is a mini low in the season. I wouldn't make too much out of it, really. I think there are some reasons, and if they, you know, things will probably get worse than this at some time during the season. We'll have this meeting again sometime.
John, what do you make of all this?
As far as Anthony Mason goes, Marv, I think the defense is the call the Knicks have to get back to. The problem is, that's been said a number of times before this season, and that's what got Anthony in the league, so he has to lead the way in that department. I think Don Nelson's low-key demeanor belies his real intensity. He's got to be burning inside. He's too much of a competitor. All we have to do is watch him on the bench to see that.
All right, as for the Nets, they come off a victory over Milwaukee at home on Tuesday night. John, a game that featured certainly the finest all-around performance by Sean Bradley as a member of the New Jersey Nets.
Yes, the Philadelphia 76ers ran out of patience with Sean Bradley. The Nets are showing a lot of patience, and they're getting some results now, as the Milwaukee Bucks can attest to. A blocked shot, a jump shot. Bradley does have many skills, and he runs the court well also. When opportunities present, he can get down court quickly and get those lead passes, and if he gets them, there's no question he's going to be in control of the shot. Against Milwaukee, pretty impressive, 17 points, 14 rebounds, 7 blocks. But Marv, the real story is how he affected the shooting of the Milwaukee Bucks. It was most dramatic. Their 2 stars did not shoot the ball well at all because of his presence.
And it will be Herb Williams going up against Sean Bradley, making his first start of the season for the injured Patrick Ewing. Back with the Knicks and the Nets in a moment.
Put on your helmet. Huh? Because this year, Bud Bowl's putting you in the game. Huh? You could win a Wilson football.
Hey, you.
Who, me?
Yeah. Look, it's first down, and one of these 6 plays will score.
Knock it in there!
Whoa! End around.
That's easy.
Yeah, just got to get by us.
Nope. Pick up your $1 million play card where you buy Bud, Bud Light, and Bud Ice.
He's fine. Cupcake, I got 5 more plays. Give up.
10 minutes? Perfect. I'll see you then. Ah, the bubbly. Thank you, buddy. Your doorstep.
No. 9 minutes. Close.
Yes. I got a date in 4.5 minutes.
Your flowers?
Hey! Hello. Just a technical problem.
Gary, what's going on in there?
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Don't forget the big screen TVs. It's January clearance time at the Wiz, and the warehouse is jumping. We're moving all our merchandise into our stores before inventory. Get the camcorders on. Everything's going. Every brand, every model. Everything from VCRs to cellular phones, video movies, cassettes, and compact discs. The best thing is we're slashing prices on hundreds of items. We want to sell them, not count them. The January in-store warehouse clearance sale. Nobody beats the Wiz.
There are sure to be a few records set during the 1996 Olympic Games. And as the official airline, Delta has already set one. Of all U.S. airlines, only Delta flies smoke-free on every flight to every city worldwide. It's not something we did to win a gold medal. We did it so you could breathe a little easier. Delta Airlines.
Revolution will be led by Jason Kidd, but he will not face the nation. Meet the press
or host the Revolution Online Cyber Chat, because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised, and the revolution will not fail. But with every no-look pass, every three-point shot, every crossover, and every strong finish, Jason can speak for the revolution. For the revolution is about basketball, and basketball is the truth.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you. By American Express. By Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers. By Delta Airlines, official airline of Madison Square Garden. And by Citibank, for banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
Back of the Garden, we're set for a special presentation of the national anthem as sung by the cast of Broadway hit Smokey Joe's Cafe.
What so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
The cast of Smokey Joe's Cafe.
Great job by a tremendous cast. John, I know you took in the Broadway show. Smokey Joe's Cafe, the songs of Lieber and Stoller. And I'm told Don Nelson took in the show last night. That's quick work. Like the show, bring him here to the Garden.
The man has oomph, doesn't he?
That's power. And we are set for the introduction of the starting lineups.
Here tonight's starting lineups. First for New Jersey. At guard, at 6'1" from Georgia Tech, number 7, Kenny Anderson. At guard, at 6'3" from DePaul, number 21, Kevin Edwards. At forward, at 6'11" from Louisiana Tech, number 42, E.J. Brown. At forward, at 6'9" from UNLV, number 43, Armin Gilliam. And at center, at 7'6" from Brigham Young, number 45, Jordan Bradley. The trainer is Ken Arzonico. Assistant coaches Stan Albeck, Jerry Eaves, and Clifford Ray. And the head coach is Butch Beard. Yinka Dare is ill and will not play. From Oklahoma State, number 3, John Starks.
as you are probably aware, these have been curious times around the New York Knicks. Anthony Mason, for one, frustrated by his performance in the loss to Portland on Tuesday night, questioned the Knicks' constantly changing offense, as he put it. This is Anthony Mason's point of view.
We want to do one thing, we go inside one game, outside the next, all around on court. You don't know what you're going to do from game to game, man. You know, at least you got to establish identity one way or another. You're going to play with force this way, you're going to do it that way, and make a team change style of play. You don't change, you know, just change it from game to game.
People have their own opinions about everything, but we seem to get defensive over things that we shouldn't get defensive about, you know. And I'm not going to get defensive about some moves I make, and the players shouldn't worry too much about it.
I think a year ago this time, those statements by Anthony Mason might have led to a suspension by Pat Riley. Don Nelson taking the more patient approach has to be burning inside, though, I would think. Mason should get back to what he said before, and that is defense, and worry about his shots later. He's getting plenty. For a fairly limited offensive player, he's getting a lot of focus on offense.
And, John, you sound like you've come back very strong, a bad throat. I know you were ailing the other night in the game against Portland, sounding strong at the start, but let's not get crazy. I think you should remain with that pullback style, and I think it was a very popular choice.
Bob, something happened to me when I was watching you on David Letterman last night, and then, of course, listening to the Ranger game.
What is that, Jim?
I figured with all the work you were doing that I could pop back fast, and I think I did.
It's so encouraging.
Kind of a pat on the back in an indirect way, I guess, to you.
Sounds strong, though. Dan Crawford, Sean Corbin, Tom Washington are the officials, and the Nets control the opening tip. Armin Gilliam, Kenny Anderson being guarded by Derek Hoffer. As we mentioned earlier, Herb Williams in the starting lineup. P.J. Brown gets the Nets going. Herb Williams making his first start of the season. Here's Starks, lost it. Kevin Edwards with the Nets off the steal, and then it was tipped away by Oakley. And Starks the other way, turns Bradley around, challenged him. He thought he was fouled.
Why take on three defensive players? John Starks in a hasty move there.
Here is Gilliam. And the Nets with a 4-0 lead. Armin Gilliam coming off a 15-point, 14-rebound game against the Bucks the other night. Now Mason with the lead for Oakley. Charles Oakley losing his man. And Anthony Mason with a good pass, so the Nets are up 4-2. The matchups, Williams on Bradley, Oakley on Brown, and Mason guarding Gilliam. Bradley rejected by Williams. So Herb Williams getting a hand on the ball, and last touch by the Nets. Herb Williams came off the bench here against Portland on Tuesday and did some good things. Hit his first two shots, brief stint, played well with Charles Smith having difficulties. Hopper, and the rebound handled by Edwards. The Nets on Tuesday at home defeated Milwaukee 81-72. Gilliam got the step, and the Nets now lead 6-2. That snapped a 4-game losing streak. Nets had lost their previous game at home to Golden State. How about the Bucks, John? Only 26 points in the second half. Mason facing the double team. Gilliam and Brown coming over. Here's Herb Williams. And the Nets now lead 6-4.
Well, that was quite a statement about Sean Bradley's presence with that those few points for the Bucks in the second half.
And Bradley is hammered. Foul committed by Oakley. So Sean Bradley, who comes off that very strong all-around game, 17 points, 14 rebounds, 7 blocked shots in 34 minutes. Doing it at the Continental Airlines Arena. I know you've gotten accustomed to that. The Continental Airlines Arena.
I think it's
official.
It's going to take me a little longer than it has taken you, Marv.
The
we were talking about Milwaukee Bucks. Glenn Robinson, 5 for 20 in that game against the Nets, and Vin Baker, 5 for 17, as Pete Bessie noted in today's column, and that was the story of Bradley's presence.
Hopefully getting a piece of the glass. Bradley, no double team. And it counts, and the foul. Sean Bradley, who goes 7'6", 245 pounds, was hit on the way up, but still was able to extend. Although we're not talking about a great leaper, but when you're 7'6", you're able to get the shot off, as he does right there.
Well, the man obviously has a touch and a feel for the basket, even though that does come off as a lucky shot. Bad sign for the Knicks, though, when a shot like that goes in this early.
The Nets 10, the Knicks 4. Harper, played by Anderson, gets it out to Oakley. Charles Oakley, who had a strong game against the Blazers, 17 points, game-high 15 rebounds. Foul is called on Harper.
Harper trying to push Kenny Anderson, a strong left-handed dribbler and shooter, of course, to his right, and there was a little bit of contact, which was picked up.
Edwards. Kevin Edwards able to step back and hit. And here are the Nets hitting their shots at the start. They are 5 of 6 from the field, and the Nets come in as the worst shooting team in the NBA. Just under 41%, and no one else is close to that mark. Travel called on Williams.
I must say, Marv, that shot by Edwards was not a defensive lapse. It was a terrific move. That quick dribble, stop, and jump shot. You don't see many players execute that, but it's one that should be emulated. It's very tough to defend.
Kevin Edwards also has been struggling as of late. Nice ball movement. Bradley. With Beard enjoying that sequence, applauding it as the Nets have jumped in front 14-6. Harper with the step on Anderson. Starks for 3. And last touch by the Knicks, who are off to a shaky start here in the first of their 4 regular season meetings against the Nets. Last season, the Knicks won 4 of 5 against New Jersey. They have won the last 4, 23 of the last 33 in the series against the Nets. Edwards for 3 as Starks fell down. Kevin Edwards, a 40% shooter from downtown. So an 11-2 run by the Nets, and they now lead 17-6. Herb Williams. Here is Derek Harper for 3. And a loose ball foul. It's against the Knicks. And Don Nelson is up and unhappy. Foul on Oakley, his second.
Despite the Nets' poor record, how they've been playing throughout the season, the atmosphere of the club, this is a very formidable front line with Bradley, Gilliam, and P.J. Brown.
And Charles Smith, hearing the reaction from the crowd, comes on for Charles Oakley, who just picked up his second foul. Charles Smith in 19 minutes off the bench the other night against the Trailblazers, 0 for 6 from the field. Bradley, and they will jump it up.
That's a very impressive pursuit of his shot. Bradley took the shot and went right after the ball in case it missed, and he was right there.
Butch Beard in his second season as head coach of the New Jersey Nets, and of course a one-time member of the NSG network broadcast staff.
Marv, I've had big shoes to fill with Butch Beard.
No question. Now, see, Butch will, as we know, he'll be watching Nick Rewind tonight and see the foul called. Illegal defense called, and he will feel that I was cynical. And he will think you are, too. I am serious.
Well, Marv, I could have said...
I myself really miss Butch sitting here.
I might as well throw in Butch's big shoes, or what, a size 8?
Yeah. 5 minutes gone by in the first quarter. And it's the Nets 17 and the Knicks 6. Here's Mason. Strong move. It counts. And the foul. Anthony Mason taking it to the hoop. Timeout is called. We'll be right back.
You've got to see it to believe it. The Men's Apparel Liquidation Center in Farmingdale. The most amazing suit sale you've ever seen is at the Men's Apparel Liquidation Center this weekend. 2 suits for $150. You heard right. 2 suits for $150. First quality brand name sold nationally for $250 per suit. Get 2 for $150 this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at the Men's Apparel Liquidation Center. Nobody beats our prices. Nobody. 2 suits for $150 Friday, Saturday, Sunday only. 399 Smith Street, a block and a half east of Route 110.
Country cousins all over Long Island have rediscovered Bootleggers in Massapequa. The one-stop shop to your drop source for all the boots you'll ever need has expanded. We're still talking big savings on brand name boots to fit cowpokes of every age and size, but now Bootleggers has an even greater selection of boots, leatherware, jeans, shirts, home furnishings, jewelry, and much more. And of course, Bootleggers still has the largest selection of western boots, biker boots, outdoor boots, Doc Martens, and more. So ride on over to Bootleggers in Massapequa and rediscover the saving place for boots at bootleg prices.
Looking to have some remodeling work done in your home or office? Then call 1-800-REMODEL today and get in touch with the experienced people at Jarrow Building Industries. When you call Jarrow at 1-800-REMODEL, you'll be working with talented professionals who will take you through every critical step of your remodeling project, designed to fit your budget. Jarrow Builders has been providing quality remodeling work for over 29 years and offers a 3-year warranty on workmanship and materials. Call Jarrow Builders today at 1-800-REMODEL and begin to work with the best.
Good start for Sean Bradley. 2 out of 4 from the field, 6 points in all. Coming off the excellent game the other night. We talked earlier with Jason Williams and asked for his impressions of Sean Bradley.
You know, he's young. He's 23 years old, and he has a lot of basketball in front of him. You know, he's real skinny. He's real pale, and he's so skinny we fax him from game to game. So, but he definitely he's been playing well, and every day he's been just getting better for us. And he's been working hard in practice, and he got a good attitude. And you know, that's what we're gonna keep here. We're gonna keep the people who have the good attitudes, and who don't have a good attitude, get out.
Jason auditioning his stand-up act. Heard a couple of these lines before.
Also, Director of Player Personnel Act, too, Marv. We're going to keep this one, that one. I guess Jason has something to do with Derek Coleman leaving. Derek's attitude was never one to be praised, so Jason's got a lot of impact here.
Jason Williams has had a very fine season. He has been among the leading rebounders in the league right throughout. You saw the first free throw by Mason waved off because one of the Knicks stepped in too soon, but able to hit the second, completing the three-point play. The Nets are up now 17-9, 6.5 remaining in this opening quarter. Charles Smith met by Armin Gilliam. Here is Herb Williams. Yes. So Herb has hit his first 2 from the field. The Nets 17, the Knicks 11.
I'd say that's a pretty good job of filling in for Patrick Ewing, who's very comfortable at that shooting range himself.
Gilliam. And back comes Starks. Accelerates and then changed his mind. Mason posting up through the double team. Here's Williams. One of the problems Anthony Mason had against Portland the other night, the fact that the Blazers did not double team frequently, and he was having trouble getting the ball back outside, but I see the Nets here are going for the double, which leaves a man open. That last sequence, it was Herb Williams, although he was not able to hit the shot.
It's a better gamble to have a Herb Williams take a shot. Oh, what a super move by Mason, initiating that with the terrific crossover dribble.
So the Knicks with a 7-0 run, and they cut it to a 4-point New Jersey lead. Anderson. And he was tied up. Good play by the Knicks, converging on Kenny Anderson. Anderson will jump against the 6'11" Herb Williams.
Looks like a back tap, Marv.
Well, Kenny Anderson won the tip on a missed time. However, he stole the tip. And is called for a loose ball foul as he stole the tip with a push. And Kenny Anderson has quickly picked up 2, and he will sit down. Here is Chris Childs. Played well in his second NBA season out of Boise State. Most unusual professional career. Spent 5 years in the CBA. Did spend some time in camp with the San Antonio Spurs 2 years back. But hooked on with the Nets last year. Did a nice job. Was a free agent. Re-signed after some haggling during the summer. Got the first shot opportunity for Charles Smith.
Butch Beard has called Chris Childs of late his best guard. That's the kind of basketball he's been playing for New Jersey.
They double up on Bradley. Starks nearly picked it off. Shot clock is down to 4. Edwards with a runner. Nets have missed their last 6 from the field. Starks. John Starks going glass. And it's now a 2-point Nets lead. So the Knicks with 9 unanswered points. Knicks trying to stop a 3-game losing streak. They have lost 4 of their last 5. Nets are now 0 for their last 7. Anthony Mason, a one-time member of the New Jersey Nets, although for a brief period of time, that draws the illegal defensive call for the second time, and a technical foul awarded the Knicks.
As Gilliam came out to double team Mason, Bradley drifted into the area under the basket in the middle of the court there to clog up the middle, and he became illegal as his man Smith was off toward the Knicks bench.
And Charles Smith, a 73% free throw shooter, misses the foul shot. I'm wondering if that was for Charles's confidence, if that dictated the decision by Don Nelson. Harper, 77% free throw shooter. Mason is about the same as Smith, but Mason had been to the line, and it actually hit a couple. One was waved off. Here's Harper. Put on the line. It's a 2-pointer for Dart, and he's tied the game at 17. So the Knicks with an 11-0 run after the poor start. And the clock apparently is stuck on 3:40.
And no one has noticed.
John Time has stopped. This is a very sad moment. Edwards. Time has stopped, John.
Something we all wish for at many times of our lives, huh?
I believe they will catch the clock problem and make the adjustment. They have it. Bradley with an awkward shot, forced it. They never did catch the stop clock, John.
It's fun to get away with something here in public, huh?
Mason given the room by Jason Williams, who just checked in. Herb Williams. Well, Herb has the touch, making a 13-0 run for the Knicks, and they take the lead for the first time. Timeout called by the Nets. With 3 minutes and 7 seconds, at least in Madison Square Garden time remaining first quarter.
This Sunday night, the next Knicks home game here. The Seattle Supersonics coming in. Seattle's on a good roll these days. And the MCS Cannon game night will start at 7:30, and the Knicks and Sonics will get it together at 8 p.m.
Seattle tonight playing at Miami. They lead the Pacific, record of 21-8. They have won 6 in a row. You see the way the Nets have gone in the other direction after that fast start. It counts and the foul. P.J. Brown hit by Charles Smith. And Brown will go to the line. So that ends the 13-0 run. First basket for the Nets at 4 minutes and 53 seconds.
Well, a little movement by P.J. Brown got himself free under the basket. Should not happen, but it did. And, Butch Beard is happy about that because his team, after a terrific start, was going in the other direction. So the Nets go 4 minutes and 53 seconds without a field goal. Give or take, what, 15 seconds, Ron? I'd say between 1 and 15.
Nets lead by 1. 2:35 remaining in this first quarter. Childs try to lead Bradley. He's bottled up. Clean block by the Knicks. The officials checking it out. Last touch by the Nets. Gilbert Davis has checked in for the first time. So Davis and Hopper in the backcourt. Williams, Smith, and Mason up front. Charles Smith, played by a very fine defensive player, P.J. Brown. Now he switches off to Davis. Open shot for Smith. And rebounded by Jason Williams. The crowd working its way into the reaction for Charles. I think they've been very patient and compassionate at the start. Here's Childs. Perhaps based on Charles's very sensible statements in the paper the last day or so about his frustrations. He hasn't overreacted. The Nets with a 22-19 lead. Once again, Patrick Ewing setting up with that sprained right ankle. And he is still being called day-to-day. Herb Williams continues to hit the outside shot. 4-5, 8 points for Williams. P.J. Brown showing us the hook, and he's off to a good start. 7 for P.J., who comes off a 4 of 13 on Tuesday against the Bucks. Nets lead by 3. Hopper with a nice fake and drew the foul. So Hopper to the line. Foul committed by Childs. Substitutions. Charles Oakley is back, replacing Charles Smith. And the #1 draft pick out of UCLA, Ed O'Bannon, comes on. Sean Bradley will sit down. Ed O'Bannon playing with a fractured nose, although not using the protective face mask. Ed O'Bannon, last year, one of the keys to the UCLA run to the national championship. And he was the winner of the John Wooden Award as Player of the Year. And very much a turn-on, too, personally, for the Nets to have on their roster. They've had a very difficult last couple of years with some attitudes with some of their personnel, but Ed O'Bannon's a straight shooting guy, and I'm sure he has a lot of supporters with the Nets. Nets lead by 1, 24-23, just under 1 minute left in this first quarter. O'Bannon being guarded by Mason. Jason Williams with the head fake and drew the foul, and he will go to the line. Foul committed by Hopper, his second, and here is Doug Christie. Herb Williams hears it from the crowd. So Don Nelson going to a 3-guard alignment for the final 52 seconds of this first quarter. And you see Gary Grant also getting set to come on.
I get a sense, too, Marv, that Don Nelson is going with what he's seeing, as Pat Riley proclaimed as a coaching strategy. Charles Smith, who Don has been supporting greatly, was in and out of this game because he didn't add anything. His patience was there, but it wasn't going to be extended. Now we see Grant in the game. I think Don is maybe having his players on a short leash now. He wants to see effectiveness for playing time.
Perry with the rebound, not able to convert. Nets lead 25-23. Mason going at Perry, and a foul is called. Nice change of pace dribble by Anthony Anthony Mason. Tim Perry picks up the personal.
This is the best way for the Knicks to accumulate points. They don't have their big man, Patrick Ewing. He's a guy to go to constantly, and they know that they've got to find other ways to score. And by pushing it up court, putting it in the hands of Mason in those transition situations, chances are they're going to get more points.
Mason has hit the last 16, make it 17 from the foul line. Anthony Mason remaining on top of the NBA in minutes per game. He averages 44 minutes per game.
It's interesting with everything going Anthony Mason's way, starting with 44 minutes a game, the big contract, the recognition that he would open his mouth the other day in a pressure situation that the team is undergoing, and cite that he really isn't getting the ball enough.
Fleming on the floor for the first time for the Nets, who have 10 on the shot clock. Down to 5. Here's Perry, fouled by Mason. Mason got a piece of him. And that will put Tim Perry at the line.
Knicks at the defensive end, trying to turn up the intensity. Mason on Perry, swipes at the ball, foul called. I'd say Mason's justified in that reaction. Looks like there was no contact. If there was, with the velocity that he swung his arm with, either the ball would have gotten free or Perry would have shown some pain.
Tim Perry in his 8th year out of Temple University, originally a #1 pick of the Phoenix Suns. Nets lead by 2. Knicks want to hold for a final shot. 15 seconds to go in the quarter. Down to 10. Christie from Oakley. Well, a well-timed pass from Charles Oakley. Final seconds of the first quarter. Here's Childs, gets it right back, able to penetrate 4/10 of a second. It's a long 4/10 of a second here. Wow, what's going on with the clock, John? Fortunately, the officials waved it off. So, after 1, it's the Nets 29 and the Knicks 27.
If you were to take
just like the States. Not exactly, Wilson. You're on the wrong side of the road.
Not yet 25 touches, as Don Nelson had suggested. Christie called for the foul. Second quarter getting underway. Nets with a 29-27 lead.
Yes, there was a difference of opinion as to how many opportunities or touches, as it is referred to, how many times you get your hands on the ball. Difference of the count, according to Anthony Mason, from the coaching staff, who sits and counts them on the bench.
Oh, look out. Ed O'Bannon took a pop over the left eye from Gary Grant. And as I mentioned earlier, Ed O'Bannon is still playing with the after effects of a fractured nose. And I would think that also had MPS. He took the shot.
It's such a stunning blow in the sense of the pain. It just staggers you. But it appears that Ed will walk it off.
Apparently has drawn blood, so is pulled from the game. He was thinking about using a protective face mask tonight. I would think against the Knicks he would want to do that if he played with a fractured nose, John. Would you consider that?
There should be a lot of thought given in that direction. Robert Pack got a shot in the eye the other night in Washington and overcame it. It looks like O'Bannon is going through a very similar experience.
Alvin Gilliam is back on the floor, up front with P.J. Brown and Jason Williams. The defensive play by Christie all over Brown on the mismatch, and Christie deflects it Out of bounds, so we have 14 seconds to go on the shot clock. Opening minute, second quarter. Nets got off to the good start, but the Knicks came roaring back with a 13-0 run. They doubled up on Childs. Williams lost it, tied up by Christie. Doug Christie very aggressive defensively, doing some nice things here.
He's having fun. He's playing basketball, something he feels he hasn't done enough of.
Controlled by Gilliam. There's a direct tip from Brown to Gilliam, who led him for the basket.
That looked like a left-handed jump shot from the right-handed shooting Gilliam.
Nets 31 and the Knicks 27. Marv Albert with John Andres, Al Troutward from Madison Square Garden for the Knicks game 2 of a 4-game homestand. Davis, yes. So Hubert Davis with his first field goal. The Nets are up by 2. Fleming, long-time veteran of the Indiana Pacers, able to, no, not able to hit the reverse, got inside, and then a loose ball foul. Foul called on Jason Williams. Kenny Anderson reporting back, coming on for Fleming. The Knicks going with Mason and Oakley as the big men. Grant, Christie, and Davis also on the court. So Don Nelson once again to the smaller lineup. P.J. Brown is guarding Doug Christie. Grant, Gary Grant ties the game at 31. Grant continues to shoot well. He's 63% from the field the last 12 games.
Very tough matchup for Christie to keep Jason Williams off the offensive boards. That's where he can hurt you the most. He's had 20 offensive rebounds in the last 2 games, which is a remarkable number.
And Jason Williams had it slapped away, but Armin Gilliam right there. It counts, and the foul. 8 points for Gilliam. And he'll go to the line. Grant is picking up the personal.
As Williams with a good position, and a nice reaction by Charles Oakley to spring that ball free, or helping out.
Armin Gilliam having a very solid season. He's averaging 17.5 per game, 10 rebounds. He's among the NBA leaders in the rebounding department. Mason gets in deep. 9 points for Mason.
Gilliam didn't have a chance to identify with Mason and get physical with him, and Mason took advantage of that because the Knicks moved the ball up quickly.
And Gilliam hit on the reach-in by Mason. Anthony Mason committing his second. Sean Bradley will check back in. So Armin Gilliam back to the foul line. Sean Bradley with a strong start in the first quarter. Once again, very difficult for the Knicks to handle the big man, but Don Nelson will send on Herb Williams. Knicks had this problem with Patrick Ewing sideline with the ankle sprain. They had the same problem against Arvydas Sabonis the other night. And here's Bradley, followed by Williams. Williams for Mason. Anthony Mason, 3 of 3 from the field, 9 points.
Gilliam last season came off the bench behind Derek Coleman for the Nets and had an excellent year, one of the top players coming off the bench this year, leading scorer of this team, top rebounder, and as you mentioned, Marv, he is having a terrific season.
And the Knicks turn it over. So the Nets get it back, a new 24 in their front court. Bradley getting position, that's a goaltend. Doug Christie called for the goaltend. The basket counts, and the Nets lead by 3.
Nets are getting used to Sean Bradley's height. He's around that basket. He is truly unstoppable at that height.
Grant being guarded by Anderson. Very quiet night for Kenny Anderson. With his free agency contract on the line, you would think, as Davis with the nice fake got the foul call on Childs. This is a spotlight game for Kenny Anderson. Got into the early foul trouble, picked up 2 in the first quarter. And he has not scored. He is 0 for 1 from the field. Took just 1 shot, couple of assists. Shooting only 42% from two-point field goal range. Kenny Anderson has been injury hit right throughout his NBA career. And the knock on him, he seems to wear down. He is certainly one of the outstanding penetrating guards in the NBA. If you recall, in Chuck Daly's years as a brief period of time as coach of the Nets, he kept trying to convince Kenny Anderson to spend more time in the weight room, and Anderson said that's not his game, and he felt it would affect him, but he wanted to build up his body. Anderson trapped Gilliam on the recovery. Brown, and a travel call.
No question about Kenny Anderson's penetrating skills. There is question about a lot of his decision-making. Certainly, as we just saw, his shooting from the field 4th lowest among active players. And Kenny's situation defensively leaves a lot to be desired in the opinion of many people. So it will be interesting to see what happens.
Grant actually intercepted that pass that was intended for Oakley. Nets lead by 1, 36-35, with 4 minutes gone by in this second quarter. Bradley going to the spin. Beautiful move by Sean Bradley.
7'6", 7 feet 6 inches tall. That's some move.
Nets by 3. Illegal defense once again called against New Jersey. And it is a technical foul awarded.
Here's a look from our Marriott Marquis Sky Cam of the Sky jump shot, you might say, by Sean Bradley. We know about the sky hook from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This guy might be a sky jump shooter.
Hubert Davis hit the technical, and it's a 38-36 Nets lead. Davis to the crossover. Grant with an open shot. Nice ball movement by the Knicks. So Grant has tied the game at 38. Anderson for 3. And rebounded by Christie. Wild pass. Knicks fortunate that Davis got to it. Oakley trying to go over the head for Christie.
Charles just disregarded the position of the defender. Good idea by Charles, but the execution left a lot to be desired.
Gary Grant upset with himself that he put Anderson on the floor, and very quick to run over and try to help him get up. That's 3 on Grant. And Derek Harper will come on. Also looked like Gary hurt his right wrist.
Kenny Anderson certainly does seem to be confused publicly as to where he wants to spend the remaining part of his career. In fact, David Falk, his newly appointed representative, indicated that before he even starts negotiating with New Jersey, as was reflected in today's papers. He wants to find out what Kenny wants. What's he looking for? What does he want to be? But that confusion has certainly affected his play. He has not been a sparkling all-star performer that he has been in the past this season.
And you'll see guys in this situation with their contract on the line either go one of 2 ways. Either they will flourish because of the incentive to get the bigger contract. Charles Oakley with 6 points. And you often see, whatever the sport, guys who are winding it down in the final year of a contract have unbelievable seasons to the point where people don't necessarily believe that this is the guy you're going to see after he signs the new contract. Or you can go the other way, and as you mentioned, that's what we've seen from Kenny Anderson. Game is tied at 46.5 remaining first half. Nice pass, but Harper was blocked. Oakley with the lead for Harper. Anderson, he beat Mason, but not able to hit on the reverse. And back comes Harper, met by Edwards. Two Knicks wide open on the other side of the court, but Charles not looking that way. He had Davis and Harper wide open. Now Harper with the open shot. Yes. Took a little while, but he was standing in that spot with no one around him for the entire possession. And the Knicks lead by 2. Timeout is taken. 5:50 left in the first half.
It's late at night. Do you know where your children are? Keep in touch with the Motorola pager from Nobody Beats the Wiz. Excuse me, I've got to use the phone.
This window shopping is driving me crazy. Can't someone build a window that's maintenance-free on the outside?
But with beautiful warm wood on the inside.
And it has to be custom sized so there's no danger to the new wallpaper.
And tilting convenience for easy cleaning.
Why can't someone just build the perfect window?
Somebody just did. Introducing the ultimate window from Elegant Entries. All the convenience of vinyl replacements and all the beauty of the most expensive wood windows at a fraction of the cost. And right now, my ultimate window is available at incredible introductory prices.
You've got to see it to believe it. The Men's Apparel Liquidation Center in Farmingdale. The most amazing suit sale you've ever seen is at the Men's Apparel Liquidation Center this weekend. 2 suits for $150. You heard right. 2 suits for $150. First quality brand name sold nationally for $250 per suit. Get 2 for $150 this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at the Men's Apparel Liquidation Center. Nobody beats our prices. Nobody. 2 suits for $150 Friday, Saturday, Sunday only. 399 Smith Street, a block and a half east of Route 110.
Rocks. It was a stone guess.
Cool. It's cool as ice, man.
Check out Qzar's Friday Night Blowout. Unlimited games for the 7 p.m. to 10 and 10 to 1 a.m. sessions. $10 a person.
Don't miss the Chemical Bank Super 6 High School Basketball Classic featuring the top teams and players from New York and New Jersey this Sunday, January 7th. See the top-ranked St. Anthony's team of Jersey City, Robeson, Holy Cross, St. Patrick, St. Raymond's, and the country's best prep player, Tim Thomas of Patterson Catholic. Tickets are now on sale at the Garden Box Office and through Ticketmaster. 5 minutes, 50 seconds remaining in this first half. The Knicks leading the Nets 42-40. Gilliam. Gilliam, who has an assortment of moves inside, can do it left hand, right hand. He thought he was fouled. Ball was knocked out of bounds by the Knicks, so the Nets get a new 24. P.J. Brown will put it in play. Brown, Bradley, Gilliam up front. Anderson and Edwards in the backcourt. Gilliam double team, but able to get the shot off. He showed some hustle and determination after that first move that was rejected. He dug in. Armin Gilliam is the high man. He has 11, and the game is tied at 42. Knicks trying to keep Bradley outside by positioning Herb Williams top of the circle so the Knicks can get something done under the hoop. Charles Oakley not at all bothered by Bradley, who started to come out and then held back. The Knicks by 2, and Oakley 4 of 5. He has 8 points. New Jersey Nets with a record of 11-17. They're 6th in the Atlantic Division. 12 games off the pace. The win over Milwaukee on Tuesday, they stopped a 4-game losing streak. Illegal defense called for the first time against the Knicks. While the Knicks have lost 3 in a row, 4 of the last 5. First time they've lost 3 straight since December of '94. That turned into a 5-game losing streak. Here's Bradley with the sweeping hook. And Harper on the ball. Some nice numbers on the boards for the Knicks from the field at 58%. They're coming off a 40% performance against Portland the other night. Williams with the fake pass. And then decided to take the shot. Brown beat P.J. Brown from Kenny Anderson, and he's tied the game at 44. Good shooting game for Brown. 4 of 6. He has 9 points. And the Knicks will talk it over. 22nd timeout is taken.
Well, that last shot by P.J. Brown, Mason was there, but the hand wasn't up in his face, and that always gives the shooter a break.
And they have now changed it to a full timeout. We'll be right back.
Now through Sunday, it's Herman's Winter Sports Spectacular with huge savings on ski wear and ski gear. Plus super footwear values too big to miss. Save big on great-looking parkas, ski pants, and more. Save on our best-selling skis, bindings, and boots, too. And don't miss Herman's Footwear Blowout. A super selection of top brands and great styles at big savings. Now through Sunday, the savings are heating up at Herman's. We are sports.
10 minutes? Perfect. I'll see you then. Ah, the bubbly. Thank you, buddy. Your door is set. No. 9 minutes. Close. Yes. I got a date in 4.5 minutes.
You're smiling?
Hey! Hello. Just a technical problem.
Barry, what's going on in there?
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
In business, you can't always count on having enough time. But you can count on AT&T for the life of your business.
Well, the Knicks and the Nets tied at 44 with 4:06 remaining in this first half. Knicks back here Sunday for the red-hot Seattle Supersonics. It'll be an 8 o'clock start, 7:30 Knicks game night here on MSG. And the Knicks wind up the 4-game homestand against the Celtics on Tuesday. Ball goes back to the Nets. And then next Wednesday, they play the Nets. John at the, I just want to hear you say
Continental Airlines.
Arena.
That's it. No more Brendan Byrne.
No. What else Brendan feels about that?
He had a good run.
Oh, nice move by O'Bannon. And the Nets lead 46 to 44. I understand the commercial aspect of it, but I can't imagine that ever happened in the Madison Square Garden. Can it, John? Can that ever happen?
Marv, anything can happen when it comes to Bucks.
No. And it will be. That's the ball. Good hustle by Charles Oakley. Herb Williams sitting down. And Charles Smith is back on. Charlie Smith, as his good friends call him, continues to have his problems. 6 minutes, 0 for 2 from the field. Nets with the 2-point lead. We come up on 3 minutes remaining in the first half. O'Bannon. And Oakley pegs it to Smith with O'Bannon back. Well, a reverse stuff by Charles Smith.
That was for the fans, Marv. Charles had to show something special, and he did in his way.
He tied the game at 46. Nice pass, and it counts. O'Bannon will head to the line, and Kenny Anderson with a good look. Foul on Smith. John Starks, who has played only 9 minutes in this first half, placing Hubert Davis, sits down with 5 points.
I would think that Don Nelson didn't enjoy watching John start the game by putting his head down 2-3 times and just trying to drive through people and then not have anything happen positively. So he wanted to let him think about it a while.
That's with a 3-point lead. Starks was open, but Smith decides to take the shot. Well, he felt it.
You know, it's amazing. I've seen it. I've lived it.
You've lived it off a reverse slam.
No, in my dreams I have.
Yes.
You miss shots, and you get a layup, an easy shot, and somehow, as crazy as it sounds, that can snap you out of it. And it did for Charles, and it's a wonderful life for him now, Mark.
Hopper not able to hit. John, at times I feel you have actually reinvented your life. Here is Edwards. Kevin Edwards able to hit. You were about to tell me you've lived it after that reverse stuff by Charles Smith.
I wasn't referring to the stuff. I wouldn't be that presumptuous. But maybe I will.
Nets lead by 3 with 1.5 minutes to go in this first half. And here is Smith. Charles now 2 of 5 from the field. O'Bannon rejected by Smith. Smith, nice pass, but it's an offensive foul. Basket won't count. And that's number 3 on Smith.
It's clear how differently Charles Smith feels, having made a couple of hoops now. He's loosened up a bit. Charles going in for the pass. He thought he was gentle by giving the ball up, but the official got him on the offensive foul.
Coming up on 1 minute remaining in this first half. Mason Williams. And a loose ball foul against the Knicks. It's on Mason. So that's 3 on Mason. Knicks over the limit. Doug Christie returning, replacing Charles Oakley. Don Nelson trying to protect Oakley from picking up a third before this first half concludes.
Jeff Van Gundy might have gone over to Nelson to remind him that Mason had just gotten his third.
So P.J. Brown at the line. P.J. Brown improved free throws good at 75% and a rare appearance. Monty Williams, who has not seen any action the last 4 games. Last time we saw Monty on the court in game action was garbage time in Orlando on that blowout by the Magic. Nets lead by 5. Just under 1 minute remaining in the half. Starks setting it up against Fleming. Shot clock at 6. Harper. And drew the foul, so Harper to the line. Jason Williams called for his second. Derek Harper, 2 of 2 at the free throw line. Nets lead 53-49. And now there's Childs back replacing Vern Fleming. So Anderson and Childs in the backcourt.
Harper coming off that 22-point performance against Portland, which was really nothing in relation to what he did in the third quarter when he really brought the Knicks back into the game with that 16-point explosion. That was a remarkable show he put on.
22nd timeout taken by the Nets. 29 seconds to go in this first half. Rangers and the Washington Caps tomorrow night from Landover starting at 8 o'clock here on the MSG Network. Rangers coming off the win here at the Garden last night over the Montreal. So the Rangers and Caps in the first of a home-and-home set tomorrow night in Landover.
How about Mark Messier last night, Mark, huh? Were you paying close attention?
Did you, by accident, have the radio on or TV during the course of your very busy schedule?
I thought the 3 goals and assists from Ray Ferraro were incredible. I mean, that's why this team is where it is at home this year. Awesome.
John, there are times that sometimes better to have the bad throw than not be talking as much as you're talking tonight. So the loose ball foul with 20 seconds remaining in the half called on Christie, and that is his third. Ed O'Bannon to the line. Not much happening here in the final minutes of this second quarter, John. It has not been one of the thrilling contests of the season.
I think both teams have taken the crowd out of the game, you know.
Yes, they have. So the Nets now lead 55-49. The Knicks hope to hold for a final shot of this first half. Out of 10 seconds. Christie being played by O'Bannon. Goes around him and tried to stop, but was rejected.
That was P.J. Brown.
Here's Anderson running the floor, but not able to hit. But Kenny Anderson putting the speed on. So the Nets with a 6-point lead over the Knicks. At the end of the half, the Nets 55 and the Knicks 49. Bob Page coming up at the MSG Sports Desk. We'll be back in a moment.
Boom, laka, 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 boom, laka, laka, laka.
I'm a Grand Prix winner.
I'm a Grand Prix winner.
We're Grand Prix winners.
Hi, I'm John Nugent, president of Grand Prix Motors in Hicksville. You too could be a Grand Prix winner with a great deal on a new Jeep, Eagle, Chrysler, Plymouth, Subaru, or previously owned vehicle. Start your engines and come to Grand Prix Jeep, Eagle, Chrysler, Plymouth, Subaru, 500 South Broadway in Hicksville, and be a Grand Prix winner.
It's going to be another cold one with overnight lows expected.
If they had only called Elegant Entries, our patented steel-insulated door systems would have kept them warm and secure. Only Elegant Entries guarantees that every door, window, garage door, and patio door we install will keep the cold and the drafts out.
Wind and snow should continue till morning.
When it comes to your family's comfort, isn't it worth it?
For free shop-at-home service on a location nearest you, call Elegant Entries at 1-800-482-6900.
This remote control is my magic wand to summon the police, fire department, paramedics, or my doctor. It contacts Life Alert, my 24-hour personal security service.
I'm having a heart attack. We're summoning the paramedics and your doctor, Mr. Perkins. Help is on the way.
With Life Alert, you're never alone. So call to get free details by mail about Life Alert right now.
Call toll-free now, 1-800-238-1199.
Country cousins all over Long Island have rediscovered Bootleggers in Massapequa. The one-stop shop to your drop stores for all the boots you'll ever need has expanded. We're still talking big savings on brand name boots to fit cowpokes of every age and size, but now Bootleggers has an even greater selection of boots, leatherware, jeans, shirts, home furnishings, jewelry, and much more. And of course, Bootleggers still has the largest selection of Western boots, biker boots, outdoor boots, Doc Martens, and more. So ride on over to Bootleggers in Massapequa and rediscover the saving place for boots at bootleg prices.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
The New Jersey Nets have led by as many as 11. The lead right now is 6. You know, there are some games at Madison Square Garden where you can feel the buzz. The building shakes, the roars are loud, and the game has electricity. This is not one of those games. Walt Clyde Frazier will be along to join me. We'll have highlights and show you some of the stats. But first, let's go to Bob Page.
Al, big buzz in South Florida tonight, where longtime Miami media personality Hank Goldberg is reporting that Don Shula will resign as head coach of the Dolphins within the next few days. Neither Shula nor the Dolphins would comment. At the stadium this afternoon, the Yankees trotted out their latest mercenary to meet the media. After saying in the past how much he disliked New York, Kenny Rogers has now received, shall we say, 20 million reasons to change his mind. He signed a $20 million four-year contract, told our Michael Kay that Yanks pitcher David Cohn did a terrific job selling him.
He helped me out quite a bit on
on the little things and the way everything's run here. And I think it helped out more than people realize because of the not knowing part on my part.
Were you friends with him before this, or was just out of the blue phone call?
Well, it wasn't out of the blue. Yeah, maybe it was. But I guess it was his idea. I guess he more so called George and was talking to them about doing this. And and when he called, we said, yeah, we're interested, very interested. So things took off from there, and everything worked out well.
Also in baseball, free agent lefty Chuck Finley signed a contract to remain with the California Angels, and it's being reported that ex-Met Brett Saberhagen may require further shoulder surgery that would cause him to miss the entire 1996 season. I'll have more right after these messages. First quarter, Michael Jordan comes out with a rebound, out to Ron Harper, who will feed a cutting Dennis Rodman for the jam. The Bulls led 27-25 going into the second quarter, where Kendall Gill heated up. His second straight three-pointer gave the Hornets a 43-40 lead. He had 10 points in the half. Glenn Rice had 17, and Jordan also had 17 points. His jumper just before halftime gave Chicago a 52-47 lead. Bulls are 26-3. Out at the Coliseum tonight, Islanders trail Montreal 2-0 mid-third period. Back to courtside in just a moment.
$50 Friday, Saturday, Sunday only. $3.99 Smith Street, a block and a half east of Route 110.
Q's are rocks.
It was a stone gas.
Cool. It's cool as ice, man.
Check out Q's Friday Night Blowout. Unlimited games for the 7 p.m. to 10 and 10 to 1 a.m. sessions. $10 a person.
Some of our announcers' clothing is furnished by Harry Ellis Menswear.
Back at Madison Square Garden, where the 11-17 Nets lead the 19-10 Knicks by 6. The leading scorers summary is brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. We'll start things off with the Nets because they're leading. That's the way we do things. P.J. Brown, Armand Gilliam, Sean Bradley. 3 double-digit scorers, the only ones in the game. Ed O'Bannon off the bench with a broken nose to score 7. Kevin Edwards did likewise. Kenny Anderson 0 for 6 in the first half. P.J. Brown also has 6 rebounds. For the New York Knicks, Anthony Mason leading the way with 9. This is single digits aplenty. Herb Williams getting the start and delivering 8 points for the Knicks as well as 2 rebounds. The Knicks are being out-rebounded 19-15. Oakley has 8. Harper has 7. The Knicks are shooting 54% but losing by 6. Unbeknownst to me, Walt Clyde Frazier has the night off, so I'll be, hopefully I can do this, carrying you through our halftime coverage featuring the highlights, which we're about to turn to, as the Nets and Knicks are putting on a lackluster affair here at the Garden. Now, the highlights are brought to you by Minolta, the official camera of the Garden. Sean Bradley coming off his best game as a Net, 17 points 2 nights ago. Well, he had himself a nice first half. 4 of 9, 3 rebounds for 10 points. Backing in on Herb, faking left, faking right, falling away. All right, he's a little lucky, too. Now, P.J. Brown, as I mentioned, his point total and rebounding numbers, he's so athletic and gets great spring on his legs. Here, spotted beautifully on the breakaway from the pack, going up strong for 2. As for the Knicks, Anthony Mason playing with gusto, showing some speed. You know he can do that. Getting the soft handoff from Herb Williams, and he's off and running. The Nets, nobody picks him up and shuts him down, and Mason goes coast to coast. And the Knicks also had some spurts of good passing. You're going to see Charles Oakley try to get Charles Smith energized, get his confidence back, and this will help. Letting the defense slide by and going for the reverse jam. And Don Nelson with a couple of surprises in the first half. He's going for his third different starter in replacing Patrick Ewing. First it was Charles Smith, then it was Charlie Ward, who saw no minutes in the first half, and now tonight it's Herb Williams. And then surprisingly, Doug Christie gets some pretty good minutes, and Monty Williams too. So you're never quite sure what Don Nelson's going to do. Knicks are down by 6. We're heading to the second half in a moment. John Andres and Marv Albert in a moment. This is MSG.
Hi, and welcome to Nobody Beats the Wiz. Quarterback Cameron Lodoff. Contestant number 1, Boomer from Long Island. Quarterback and all-around ham. Contestant 2, Phil from Jersey. Quarterback turned broadcaster with the softest hands I've ever felt. Phil, being the home team, will compete blindfolded. Of course, he is using a Fuji camera with Fuji's exclusive drop-in loading. Gentlemen, load your cameras. And the winner is Fuji Cameras, and Nobody Beats the Wiz. If Phil can load one, so can you.
I tried a no-name long-distance company because the savings sounded simple, right? Wrong. Bill made me busy. And savings? Nothing but restrictions. My work's enough to deal with. Things at home got to be simple. So I got AT&T True Reach Savings. It's the only way I save 25% on every type of call on my AT&T phone bill, no matter who I call in the U.S.
AT&T True Reach Savings. Save 25% when you spend just $25 a month. AT&T True Reach Savings. That's your true choice. AT&T.
If you were to take every honor, every award,
Detergent gasoline. Mobile. How can we help you? And by Coca-Cola. Always jamming, always Coca-Cola.
Back at the Garden, the Nets lead the Knicks by 6, 55-49. Moments ago, a presentation made honoring Charles Oakley, who did some good things last month. We now join MetLife Vice President Tony Tranny.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure on behalf of MetLife to present the MetLife Knick of the Month Award to Charles Oakley. In addition to the award, MetLife will proudly donate $1,000 in Charles's name to his favorite charity, Creative Arts Workshop. Thank you very much.
Charles Oakley averaging 13 points a game, 12 rebounds during the month of December. He's the MetLife Knick of the Month, and he joins November winner Derek Harper in this season's MetLife Winner's Circle. Here's quickly what Steve Albert sounds like on the radio.
And Ed O'Bap.
But now let's go back to the other Albert, Marv, who's with John.
Very nice, Al, and I think we did hear enough. Yes, older brother Steve handling the Nets play-by-play on the Nets radio network, along with Michael O'Corn. There is Steve, who, upon arrival here, asked me, John, is the 24-second clock rule still in effect? Kind of a puzzle fellow.
You know, it's funny. He's a very youthful guy, your older brother that you refer to.
Yeah, he keeps himself in very good shape.
Yeah. They're all younger than you, Marv. And yet, you've been around longer. I don't understand, but I guess it's some kind of math.
Nets now lead 55-51 as John Starks opens up the third quarter. Knicks with Harper and Starks at the guards. Williams, Oakley, and Mason on the front line. Bradley trying to put the move on Williams, and the foul is called on Herb Williams. That is his second as you look at the Toyota matchup. And Herb Williams, in his first start of the season, did a nice job in the first half.
Herb got an 18-minute playing period. Bradley had 19 minutes.
Edwards with the off-balance follow-through. He has 9 points. In the first half, the Nets shooting 44% from the field, and the Knicks at 54%. They were 20-for-37, but the Nets with the advantage at the free throw line. They were 14 of 18 at the line. 6-point Nets lead. Illegal defense once again against New Jersey. That is their 4th violation. And Charles Oakley will shoot the technical. There is a remarkable statistic here at the end of 24 minutes of play for the Knicks, and that is they did not have an offensive rebound in the entire first half. And the Nets front line does do a good job off the offensive boards. In fact, Jason Williams leads the league in that department. Offensive rebounding. Starks on a quick release. And the rebound is handled by Gilliam. That is remarkable because Jason Williams plays an average of only 24 minutes a game, and he's still the 4th leading rebounder overall in the NBA. Offensive foul on Brown. P.J. Brown called for his first. Minute and a half gone by in the third quarter. And the Nets lead at 57-52. Open 3 for Starks. So John Starks, who saw limited playing time in the first half, able to hit his first from downtown. The Nets now lead by 2. Nets only have 3 turnovers in the game. Knicks have to put up a much stronger defensive effort to change that situation as P.J. Brown shows the touch. 4-point Nets lead. Nets trying to break. The Knicks got back. The steal by Starks. Starks able to work it past Bradley. Hopper, air ball, and back comes Edwards. Anderson setting up Gilliam. Arvin Gilliam. And the Knicks will take a timeout. Gilliam with 13 points. Nets 61. And the Knicks 55.
Now through Sunday, it's Herman's Winter Sports Spectacular with huge savings on ski wear and ski gear. Plus super footwear values too big to miss. Save big on great-looking parkas, ski pants, and more. Save on our best-selling skis, bindings, and boots, too. And don't miss Herman's Footwear Blowout. A super selection of top brands and great styles at big savings. Now through Sunday, the savings are heating up at Herman's. We are sports.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression. Goes to post office. Finds out priority mail is a smart solution. Resume gets noticed. Person gets job. Now, if you can only get a can. Team needs new jerseys. Person has to deliver them overnight. Goes to post office. Finds express mail is a smart solution. Guarantees delivery. Jerseys arrive on time. Person avoids getting sacked.
Consider credit card rebates, gasoline, airline miles, cars. Many can...
Remember, when you're having good times with good friends, drink responsibly because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser. 9 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The Nets with a 61-55 lead on the Knicks. The Nets have led most of the way. They have led by as many as 11. Starks, 2-point shot for John Starks, who is heating up here in the third quarter. 61-57 Nets. Anderson and Edwards in the backcourt. Brown with Gilliam and Bradley up front. And a reach-in foul charged to Hopper. That is his third. Hopper finding it difficult, as anyone would, to stay with Kenny Anderson. He's very aware of the foul situation when you put your hands on the opponent. He's trying not to do it, but Anderson demands it sometimes. Edwards thought that Gilliam was in that spot. Starks lost it off his foot. Gilliam. The Knicks trying to stop a 3-game losing streak. They've also dropped 4 of the last 5. They are 4.5 behind the Orlando Magic. Magic with 6 straight wins. Oakley rejected by Bradley. Herb Williams on the recovery. So Sean Bradley coming up with a second block shot, but a break for the Knicks as it landed in the hands of Herb Williams. So the Nets now lead by 2, and they call for time.
So here's a look at the Marriott Marquis Skycam in action. The Knicks working Charles Oakley. Charles out of the corner for the strong drive. Runs into Sean Bradley at the end, but then that loose ball goes into the hands of Herb Williams. Nice recovery by Big Herb Williams for that soft jump shot. The New York Marriott Marquis, Broadway's biggest hit.
And that represented the Knicks' first offensive rebound of the night. Open shot for Brown. Well, P.J. Brown is putting on a show offensively. 6 of 8 from the field. He has 15 points. He's a guy with great intensity and work ethic, but still has to build the offensive game. Not the case tonight. Oakley with the drive rejected by Bradley. Starks, and again the Knicks able to do it off the offensive board. Nets lead 63-61.
Starks only played 11 minutes of the first half, but now he's showing his value, and it looks like he's going to be here for a while in the second half.
John Starks with 9 of his 11 points in this third quarter. Gilliam. Armin Gilliam extending to a 65-61 lead. Hopper.
Rushed shots mean no offensive rebounds.
And P.J. Brown continuing his excellent shooting. 17 for Brown. Six and a half remaining in the third quarter. Down to 4 on the 24. Mason was rejected by Gilliam. 2-on-1. Anderson with the acceleration. He was looking to draw the foul against Starks.
The last move by Mason, he just took it into the entire front line of the Nets and got rejected. He just resists that jump shooting situation.
Oakley had a notion that changed his mind. Hopper for 3. Derek Hopper hammering the three-pointer, and it cuts it to a 3-point Nets lead. Hopper has 10 points. And you hear the chant of defense. Gilliam with a head fakes on Mason. Armin Gilliam is 8 for 12. Usually when he gets the ball, it does not go back outside. I know that the criticism of certainly of Charles Barkley when he was a teammate of Armin's in Philadelphia, but he does have that superb repertoire, variety of baby hooks. Herb Williams. Herb trying to put it down on the face of Sean Bradley. Got the step, but not able to convert. Nets have a 5-point lead, just under 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Brown. Gilliam is right there. And the Nets now lead by 7.
No box out of Gilliam. He just went in and took what he wanted. You got to at least get in front of the man.
Mason trying to post up, throws the double team. Nets lead by 7. Charles Smith and Hubert Davis getting set to come in. Starks off the turnover by Anderson. John Starks. Hopper Weber is doing a terrific job not allowing Kenny Anderson to turn the corner and get to the basket.
Northwestern heads for Michigan to take on the Wolverines in a Big Ten Conference showdown. Saturday afternoon, right here on MSG.
Looking to have some remodeling work done in your home or office? Then call 1-800-REMODEL today and get in touch with the experienced people at Jarrow Building Industries. When you call Jarrow at 1-800-REMODEL, you'll be working with talented professionals who will take you through every critical step of your remodeling project, designed to fit your budget. Jarrow Builders has been providing quality remodeling work for over 29 years and offers a 3-year warranty on workmanship and materials. Call Jarrow Builders today at 1-800-REMODEL and begin to work with the best.
You've got to see it to believe it. The Men's Apparel Liquidation Center in Farmingdale. The most amazing suit sale you've ever seen is at the Men's Apparel Liquidation Center this weekend. 2 suits for $150. You heard right. 2 suits for $150. First quality brand name sold nationally for $250 per suit. Get 2 for $150 this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at the Men's Apparel Liquidation Center. Nobody beats our prices. Nobody. 2 suits for $150 Friday, Saturday, Sunday only. 399 Smith Street, a block and a half east of Route 110.
Rocks.
It was a stone guess.
Cool. It's cool as ice, man.
Check out Qzar's Friday Night Blowout. Unlimited games for the 7 p.m. to 10 and 10 to 1 a.m. sessions. $10 a person.
Well, the 2 championship banners that hang on over the Madison Square Garden crowd here always haunt the New Jersey Nets when they come to Madison Square Garden. They always feel somewhat inferior. And Jason Williams, as we take a look now at our MCS Cannon quote book, phrases it this way: these are 2 teams that are hungry now, fighting over the last cracker. Both of us need a win. It's like, who's going to get the best table? They're sitting by the window, we're stuck by the bathroom. MCS Cannon, let us show you the possibilities. Mason always has a way of expressing things in a different manner. And it's very graphic. That's a travel called on Chris Childs, who just checked back in. And as Spate delivers it, Jason Williams' locker in the visiting locker room tonight is 1 step from the bathroom. Our staff probably checking every conceivable angle. Kind of fitting, actually, when you consider his thoughts. Nets lead 71-66 with 3.5 to go in the third. Childs now guarding the red-hot John Starks. Spins his way. That time forced it. Childs and Oakley with the rebound. Gilbert Davis, John Starks in the backcourt with Anthony Mason, Charles Smith, and Charles Oakley up front. Mason challenging Bradley and is rejected. You wonder if Mason learns about situations like that. I mean, the guy's 7'6" and is a great shot blocker. Why challenge it? Anderson's pass too much on it. Knicks have a 3-on-2. Starks. Smith pulls it away from Bradley and is fouled. Charles Smith with the good play. Bradley felt that the foul should have been on Smith. Childs called for the foul instead on Smith. Charles got some nice public recognition after that hard-earned rebound. Take another look at it now. Charles comes into the picture, fights Bradley for the ball. And another example that the crowd here is fair. When they see something good, they reward Charles Smith. And John Starks will get a rest. John Starks with 11 of his 13 points in this third quarter. The Nets 71 and the Knicks 67 with 2 minutes 45 seconds to go in the third. Gary Grant has come on for John Starks. He's defending against Vern Fleming. And the foul is called. Offensive foul on Gilliam, who was backing into Mason. Armin Gilliam with his first. Without Grant and Davis in the backcourt with Smith, Mason, and Oakley on the front line. They double up on Smith. Mason. Nice pass from Smith to set it up for Mason. And the Knicks are within 2. A technical foul. And it's on Armin Gilliam, who's still upset over that last offensive foul call against him. At first, the officials were letting it go because he did respond initially, and he continued the discussion. Here's a look at the foul. A reach around as he grabs the leg of Mason. Very nifty if he can get away with it, John.
Yes. That's an example of why the NBA went to 3 officials, so that they could put a lot of focus inside the below the foul line on the big men executing tricks like that.
Gilbert Davis hitting the technical. Alfred Butch Beard.
Nice to see Butch doing well. I think his coaching image has gone up considerably since his rough first year.
And O'Bannon rejected by Smith. Butch pulling out Gilliam to settle things down following the technical. The Nets now lead by 1. We're just under 2 minutes to go in the third. Mason taking it in a crowd. Mason with the rebound, battling hard. Crowd looking for a foul against the Nets.
But you know, Mason isn't. Interesting. Usually comes up aiming his ire at the officials. He didn't on that one.
And a loose ball foul on Jason Williams, who was over the back of Charles Smith. That is team foul number 4 on the Nets.
Well, look at Mason working very hard against the front line of the Nets. He's getting his shot up, although not comfortably, certainly comfortable enough where he could put it in the hole.
Anthony Mason sitting down. Doug Christie has come on. Christie played briefly in the first half. Off a double team. Good luck. Oakley not able to hit. And a foul. It's number 4 on Grant. Dan Crawford explaining the foul to Gary Grant. So the Nets have gone cold once again. They have not scored the last 3.5 minutes. Tim Perry replacing P.J. Brown has had an outstanding night. 17 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocked shots. We come up on 1 minute left in the third. One-on-one move by Fleming going right at Grant. Vern Fleming, in his 12th season out of the University of Georgia, a local product from Long Island City, with a beautiful move on Gary Grant.
First 11 years as a Pacer.
Here's Davis for 3. Yes. So Hubert Davis has tied the game at 73. 40 seconds remaining. Third quarter. Gary Grant trying to dig in against Vern Fleming. Again, it's Fleming. This time that shot deflected and a foul against the Nets. A loose ball foul on Jason Williams. That is his 4th, and the Nets over the foul limit. So the Knicks will go to the line.
Another nice job by the Knicks guards in the backcourt, working on defense, not allowing the penetrating move by Fleming to get toward the basket. That was Gary Grant keeping the man from turning in.
Charles Oakley, 1 of 1 at the free throw line. So the Knicks are now 12 for 16 at the line. Did not have a good shooting performance at the foul line against the Trailblazers here on Tuesday. So the Knicks take a 1-point lead with a half minute remaining in the third. Vern Fleming calling out a play. 10-2 run by the Knicks. O'Bannon posting up. And O'Bannon gets the roll. He has 9 points. We're down to 10 seconds to go in the third. Nets by 1. Grant off the dribble was held by Fleming, and again, Knicks will go to the line because the Nets are over the limit.
Interesting sidelight, Mar, which certainly has no meaning except for perhaps number 34. But Charles Oakley came out tonight with black sneakers, something the Knicks used to do in playoff situations. But they come out as a team, demonstrating some kind of togetherness or an attitude. But Charles did his own thing tonight with those shoes, breaking from his teammates.
Well, Gary Grant, who was among the league leaders at the foul line, has been struggling as of late. He was 0 for 3 on Tuesday. He has now missed his last 5 free throws. At one point, it hit 20 in a row. He was over 90%. So we're tied at 75.
Oh, Charles Oakley hiding behind his hands.
And that's the end of the third quarter. The Knicks and the Nets are tied at 75.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser.
It's late at night. Do you know where your children are? Keep in touch with the Motorola pager from Nobody Beats the Wiz. Excuse me, I've got to use the phone.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by the New York State Lottery. Play Lotto and you could win millions of dollars. Hey, you never know. By your Tri-State GMC truck dealers, the strength of experience. By the employee owners of Avis, we're into the future, into it now, trying harder than ever. And by Payne Weber.
Well, Don Nelson happy where his team is right now. Let's take a look at our Delta Airlines upcoming schedule. Sunday, the Knicks will play Seattle here at the Garden. MCS Cannon game night at 7:30. Tuesday, the Boston Celtics will be here at the Garden. MCS Cannon game night at 7 p.m. And we heard some interesting news out of Boston today that backcourt player D. Brown has asked to be traded after not playing the last 6 games in the fourth quarter.
And this fourth quarter gets underway with Kenny Anderson misfiring, and Kenny Anderson is now 0 for 8 from the field. Game is tied at 75. Christie posting up on Brown, who was an excellent defender, and he's rejected as Bradley came over. Sean Bradley with his 5th block. He had 7 the other night against Milwaukee. And now Brown going at Christie, and is rejected by Christie. Edwards trying to shake off the defender, and a travel is called on Kevin Edwards. In the third quarter, the Knicks were 9 for 23 from the field. The Nets were 10 of 17. The Knicks got a lift from the scoring of John Starks, who had 11 of his 13 points in the third quarter. Don Nelson, though, staying with Grant, Davis, and Christie, and he has Charles Smith up front with Monty Williams. Here is Smith. Yes. Charles showing some good signs here tonight.
Well, if Anthony Mason was confused by how Don Nelson was doing things offensively in the last game, Anthony Mason sitting on the bench now must really be confused when you look at the lineup on the court.
Here is Bradley. Bradley again. Bradley again. Bradley rejected. Sean Bradley, who goes 7'6", with 4 opportunities from close in, not able to score.
Here's another look at it. Bradley working against Charles Smith. Doug Christie, Monty Williams, he can't get it done. And that's an example why Sean Bradley will be lifting weights this summer. Because if he gets more strength in that upper body, that will not happen. He should not be denied like that.
And Butch Beard was upset. He was looking for a foul call off that flurry. And now a hold is called on Edwards. The Knicks with a 77-75 lead. With 1:45 gone by. in the fourth quarter. Smith got the step. Oh, we're seeing a different Charles Smith here tonight. One of his better efforts of the season here at the Garden. And the Knicks now lead 79-75. You can see the confidence has come back. He has been very tentative in recent games. And there's some fire that has returned to the Knicks, something we have not seen in recent games.
Well, Monty Williams had his head up around the rim on that defensive rebound attempt.
Ball was knocked out of bounds by the Knicks. Bradley trying to go to work against Smith. Charles Smith doing a good job. Bradley and a 3-second violation called as Gilliam and Williams shove each other. If it's a double technical, Armin Gilliam is out of here. Let's see. He was hit with a technical earlier. Let's see how they call it. Sean Corbin has called a double technical. And that's the second on Gilliam, and that's a major loss. Armin Gilliam hit with a second technical foul for the shoving match with Monty Williams.
He had no idea of the trouble that lie ahead when he got into that shoving match.
So Armin Gilliam, very calmly, heads back to the dressing room. He departs with 19 points, 8 rebounds. He was 9 of 14. That's a huge loss for the Nets.
If you're just rolling out of bed, do not look outside.
The new Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo offers an available V8 and full-time four-wheel drive.
On the way, buses are running behind.
Anti-lock disc brakes and dual airbags.
Getting through.
Plus a lease rate of just $359 a month with no money down.
It's a great day for snowmen.
Making the new Jeep Grand Cherokee greatly underappreciated by school kids everywhere.
See your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer.
As the official airline of the 1996 Olympic Games, Delta is setting the pace for business travelers with an event of its own, the Around the World Relay. It's a team event, coordinating thousands of flights a day to cities throughout the world. So you can go from one plane to another, one place to another, in record time. Delta Airlines.
Good afternoon, sir. Is there anything I can show you today?
Just looking, thank you.
Of course, sir. Excellent choice, sir. Confidentially, our very big Hollywood star bought this very piece this morning. But it's just as effective on you, sir. Although perhaps just a smidgen long in the sleeves. Dimitri, good afternoon, sir.
NYNEX. More information, more solutions, more stuff.
That's terrible, Tim Witherspoon. We want you to know that Madison Square Boxing presents pound-for-pound, Broadway-bound super middleweight champion Roy Jones Jr. and Murky Sosa at the Garden on January 12th. Plus, catch an exciting undercard of heavyweight Terrible Tim against Al Ice Cole and undefeated Lou Savarese versus Michael Grant, who's turning heads in boxing. January 12th, 7:30 p.m. Tickets on sale now at the Garden box office and through Ticketmaster.
Here is Smith again trying to shoot over Bradley. 3 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. The Nets are 0 for the quarter. And the Knicks with their biggest lead of the game, 79-75. Anderson called for the offensive foul. And Kenny Anderson having a very difficult night. He does have 8 assists. Look at that stat line. The Knicks staying with Charles Oakley and Charles Smith as the 2 big men. Doug Christie, Hubert Davis, Gary Grant of the 3 guards. A technical on Kenny Anderson. Well, Armin Gilliam has already been ejected, hit with a second technical foul, and now Kenny Anderson is called for the tee, so Hubert Davis will shoot it.
Monty Williams got a nice greeting when he went to the bench after his couple of minutes. And you know Don Nelson would like to see this unusual lineup and decision-making that he has made in the last several minutes continue.
Oakley with the backdoor pass from Christie. That's the second time they've been able to execute it. And the Knicks now lead 82-75. Good second half effort by the Knicks. Bradley banking it over Smith. Sean Bradley with 12 points, and the Knicks lead is now 5.
That's a confidence builder for Bradley, but nothing like the confidence builder that Doug Christie just had.
Pick and roll for Oakley. Charles rolling to the corner and then hitting the jump shot over Bradley.
When do you see Charles Oakley make a jumper off the dribble?
Anderson with his first field goal, a three-pointer. And the Knicks now lead 84-80. Here's Grant. Oh, what a move. He beat P.J. Brown, who is a very strong defender, beat him off the dribble. And the Knicks now lead by 6. Here's Brown. Bad decisions being made now by the Nets. Christie. That time too much on it. Anderson lost it off his foot. He was trying to beat Grant off the dribble. Open shot for Davis. Yes. It's a 3 for Hubert Davis. And the Knicks with an 89-80 lead. And the Nets want to talk it over.
McDonald's is a proud sponsor of New York Knicks basketball on MSG Network.
This remote control is my magic wand to summon the police, fire department, paramedics, or my doctor. It contacts Life Alert, my 24-hour personal security service.
I'm having a heart attack.
We're summoning the paramedics and your doctor, Mr. Perkins. Help is on the way.
With Life Alert, you're never alone. So call to get free details by mail about Life Alert right now.
Call toll-free now, 1-800-238-1199.
You've got to see it to believe it. The Men's Apparel Liquidation Center in Farmingdale. The most amazing suit sale you've ever seen is at the Men's Apparel Liquidation Center this weekend. 2 suits for $150. You heard right. 2 suits for $150. First quality brand name sold nationally for $250 per suit. Get 2 for $150 this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at the Men's Apparel Liquidation Center. Nobody beats our prices. Nobody. 2 suits for $150 Friday, Saturday, Sunday only. 399 Smith Street, a block and a half east of Route 110.
The Rocks.
It was a stone gas.
Cool. It's cool as ice, man.
Check out Qzar's Friday Night Blowout. Unlimited games for the 7 p.m. to 10 and 10 to 1 a.m. sessions. $10 a person.
Here's a look at the Marriott Marquis Sky Cam. Take a look at this play. Charles Oakley sees Doug Christie with a beautiful roll to the basket. Christie has the great legs, and he had a reverse dunk at the end of that move. The New York Marriott Marquis, Broadway's biggest hit.
And Don Nelson staying with this mix and match lineup. They've done a terrific job here in the fourth quarter. 15-5 run by the Knicks, and they lead by 9. They double up on Bradley. Fleming back on the floor. Brown coming up short on the reverse, and a foul is called. It's on Smith. And Butch Beard pulling Kenny Anderson, who cannot be pleased. This has happened on a number of occasions in the fourth quarter because Butch has not been happy about Anderson's defensive work. And I would think he's not too pleased about the decision-making here in the fourth quarter. The Nets about to shoot their first free throw of the second half. So Butch Beard going with the veteran Vern Fleming, who just replaced Anderson, who missed his first 8 shots, hit a three-pointer just moments ago. He's 1 of 9 from the field in what has been a horrendous game here at the Garden to Kenny Anderson.
Marv, what particularly hurts, you allude to here at the Garden, you can see the Nets fourth quarter 2 out of 10 from the field. The Knicks are hot 6 out of 9. But this is where Kenny Anderson dreams of playing. Having grown up in Queens, Archbishop Malloy product, he is a New Yorker, despite the fact that the big bucks are coming from the New Jersey Nets payroll. And not to have the opportunity to show what he can do in the fourth quarter, as he has done in prior meetings here, really must hurt.
Foul on Fleming. Only the second team foul on the Nets. Jason Williams getting set to return. Doug Christie getting significant playing time and has played well. Shot clock is down to 7. Christie going at O'Bannon. Doug Christie not able to hit. Oakley with the rebound, pops it out for Grant. Grant for Christie, but he's called for steps.
He's laden. His game is laden with error. It's unbelievable, and he has so many spectacular potential moves in his body. At least now he's getting a chance to show them. But he's like an inch from really turning heads and getting big-time playing time.
6 minutes to go in the fourth. Nets with the ball. Knicks lead by 7. Jason Williams, now played by Charles Smith, goes right at him. Nice move by Jason Williams. 89-84 Knicks. And official timeout. Tom Washington pointing at the 24-second clock, which is being readjusted. Here's Anthony Mason, who has sat out for a while in this fourth quarter.
I think if Don Nelson had left him out any longer, it would have become an issue. Mason leading the NBA in time on the court, 44 minutes a game. The team doing quite well without him. But I don't think Don Nelson wants to have it look as though Mason is in the doghouse at all for his statements of late. Interesting, though, Marv, Mason was critical of his team for not playing with force lately. Kind of ironic here in that the team has played with force for the best part of this game while he's been on the bench.
Anthony has played 32 of the 42 minutes and is about to report back into the game, but now a momentary delay as they try to adjust the clock. But this group on the floor has done an excellent job. They have that 15-5 run, referring to Smith and Oakley and the 3 guards, Davis, Christie, and Grant. It was John Starks who helped bring the Knicks back with an explosive third quarter. Once again, Patrick Ewing is sitting it out tonight with that sprained right ankle. Knicks playing their 3rd straight game without Ewing, and that goes back to the injury suffered against the Cleveland Cavaliers last week.
Don Nelson has made some very interesting moves tonight, Mark, starting with using a lot of his players early in the game. And even though a player may play only a few minutes like Christie did in the first half, 7 minutes, it helps now later in the game when he comes in, has a feel for the game. But Don Nelson has shown a lot of confidence in other players tonight that he normally doesn't use. And he has engineered the Knicks into a very interesting position right now with his use of his entire roster.
All right, as they make the adjustments with the clock, we'll take a break.
He's 6'2", weighs 265, can bench press over 400.
Lead on the Nets, 5:45 remaining in this fourth quarter. Knicks getting balanced scoring tonight, 13 apiece for Starks and Davis, 12 for Oakley, Mason 11, 10 for Herb Williams, who started for the first time this season, Harper with 10, Smith with 9 points.
You just can't beat balance, Marv.
And we're told, word from the scorer's table across the way is that they will use a stopwatch at the scorer's table, and I would think on the public address they will at times run down how much time is remaining on the 24-second clock, because they have not been able to make the repairs at the basket that the Knicks are shooting at. Looks like it's all right at the other end.
Knicks are losing the battle of the boards right now, 38-27, but they've contained the Nets pretty well in the offensive rebounding situation, where they have been ringing up big numbers lately. They've only got 9 at the moment.
Shot clock is down to 10. Beautifully done. A pick and roll between Grant and Smith, and the Nets got lost. So the Knicks now lead 91-84. The Nets do have their 24-second clock operating. We have 5:20 to go in this fourth quarter. Here's Williams, stopped by Smith.
Well, Charles did what good defenders do when someone puts the ball on the floor. He got in front. He moved his feet quickly.
And the announcement of 15 seconds on the 24. Christie for Smith. Here's Christie for 3. Yes! Well, if the Knicks are able to hold on and win this one, it will be a game remembered for the emergence of Charles Smith and Doug Christie. Foul is called, and that is number 5 on Grant. And now here comes Anthony Mason, replacing Doug Christie, who hears it from the crowd. 3 of 7 from the field, 7 points for Christie. Now Childs at the line with 4:39 remaining in this fourth quarter. Doug Christie enjoying the moments with Monty Williams. They have been spending much time together on the bench. Monty getting some playing time tonight.
Another interesting move by Don Nelson. Christie going well. You might think, why take him out? Well, the reason is you don't want him to be responsible for the entire outcome of this game. It's been all positive for him, and let's leave it that way.
Eric Grant has also had a solid game, although he is in foul trouble. Here's Grant, and he draws the foul. Eric Grant doing an excellent job penetrating. There's a foul on O'Bannon. And Grant to the line, where he suddenly has been struggling. 1 of 2 at the line here this evening. The 7-point output for Doug Christie, his Knick high. What has happened to Gary Grant? I know you've talked to him. You've been working with the follow-through. And obviously, you have psyched him out completely.
He's not following through. He's dropping back, or he did on that last one after the release. Now he's followed through. It's going to go in. See that?
Good call, John, about 5 seconds after it hit the cord.
Oh, no.
Knicks now lead 95-86 as we come up on 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Bradley establishing position and has to go to the fadeaway and draws the foul. Charles Smith is doing an excellent job against Sean Bradley. And then he got help on the double from Oakley. Smith picks up number 5.
I wouldn't be surprised after this game is over if Charles Smith doesn't make a public statement in the direction of Don Nelson, something to the tune of, "Thanks for sticking with me."
Bradley is now 2 of 4 at the line. He is a 69% free throw shooter. So the Knicks now lead 95-87. Nets led most of the way, led by as many as 11. The Knicks got off to a very raw start and then able to get back into it. The Knicks with a good drive in the third quarter, and they played well here in the fourth. Grant forced it, saved by Oakley. Not a pretty sequence for the Knicks. Grant with the steal. Bradley diving. Grant diving. O'Bannon has it. Close to a 10-second violation it is. It is a backcourt violation, and the Knicks will take over.
Boy, give it to Gary Grant. He made that happen.
Look at Clifford Ray, the assistant coach, very upset. But terrific hustle by the Knicks to force that turnover.
Clifford got to 9 and the whistle blew.
Now the officials are discussing, this is what the Nets' contention was, that they had gotten it to the front court and was deflected to the back court. So they are saying that it is not a backcourt violation. The ball deflected out with 14 on the shot clock, which means they must get it to the front court immediately.
Take another look at it now. The ball goes over half court in the possession of the Nets.
So apparently they say deflected out by the Knicks. Child's pass not able to be handled by Bradley. And now Kenny Anderson comes on for Vern Fleming. The Nets with 14 turnovers in the second half.
After only 3 in the first half.
And the 24-second clock at the Knicks end is now operating. Here's the double team on Mason as O'Bannon came over to help. Smith, yes. Charles Smith, 6 of 10 from the field, and he has 13 points. A 10-point Knick lead. It is their biggest lead of the game. Travel on Bradley.
Bob, I can't help but think Charles Smith's remarkable night, for him a remarkable night, turnaround, traces back to the layup he made. It took all the pressure off him. He got the feeling of putting the ball in the hole.
And Charles Smith with 8 of his 13 here in the fourth quarter, and his size has been a factor against Sean Bradley. He's done a good job in keeping Bradley in check. And off the double team and offensive foul called on Mason. That's his 4th. He was looking for help, could not find anyone. So with 2.5 remaining in the fourth quarter, the Nets get it back. The Knicks trying to stop the losing streak at 3. And they dropped their last 2 here at home. Childs for 3. And Mason with the rebound. Davis for 3. That would have been a potential 4-point play. It will be 3 shots, though, for Hubert Davis on the foul by Childs.
Hubert loves to shoot that ball out of the deep right corner, and he has done it so successfully of late.
Hubert Davis is 5 of 5 from the line. He has 13 points in all. He is a 77% free throw shooter. The Knicks now lead 98-87.
It's been a 32-point second half for the Nets so far after a 55-point first half.
Hubert Davis able to shake off a sprained ankle. Suffered in practice the other day. He's been in the midst of a good spurt. And the Knicks now lead 100-87. The Nets take a timeout.
Becky Baugh.
Well, you can hoop it up this Saturday as MSG tips off a triple header at 12 noon with the Big Ten's Northwestern at Michigan, followed by an Atlantic 10 game between Dayton and top-ranked UMass. Repeat, top-ranked UMass. To our producer, Howie Singer. Then at 8 p.m., catch the Providence Friars and the St. John's Red Storm in a Big East battle. That's
College hoops this Saturday beginning at 12 noon and all season long right here on the MSG Network.
2 minutes.
And with just under 2 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter, the Knicks lead 100-87. It's using the clock a bit here. Last touch by the Nets with 5 on the 24. And here's Charlie Ward making his way. Charlie, a starter against Portland on Tuesday night, making his first appearance here this evening, replacing Gary Grant, who hears the applause. Nice job by Gary Grant. 8 points of 3 of 4 from the field. Good job defensively. And Ward shaking off Anderson, almost hit from long range.
That's like Charlie last year in his rookie season, coming in the game and firing.
Here's Brown.
Well, Marv, when you look at the Knicks players tonight, it seems, oh, that was Chris Childs on a beautiful drive. It really seems that every single Knick contributed noticeably, meaningfully to this lead they have right now.
Well, one of those unusual nights where all 11 available players saw action. With just under 1 minute remaining in the fourth quarter, Oakley was bottled up, knocked out of bounds by the Nets with only 2 on the shot clock. 52 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Oakley giving it up to Smith, a smart play. Charles did not have the shot. Mason on the follow. Upset with himself, but he will go to the foul line. Anderson called for the personal. So Anthony Mason, who is 3 of 3 at the line, will shoot 2. And now Doug Christie and Monty Williams about check in. Coming off all the controversy, the team meeting, players upset about various aspects of their game the last couple of contests, Don Nelson could not have asked for anything better than what took place here tonight. Patrick Ewing is out. Charles Smith comes through the big game. Herb Williams played well in his first starting assignment. Doug Christie off the bench to do a nice job. Here comes Christie back. And Charles Smith hearing it from the crowd as he departs. Don Nelson out to shake his hand, give him a pat. An appreciative crowd for the work of Charles Smith, who had an outstanding night. 13 points, 3 blocked shots. But this is the perfect game for the Knicks because everyone got into the act. They get the balanced scoring, 7 players in double figures. Foul on Monty Williams. They're able to come from behind after some shaky moments in the first half. Able to do it against a net team that was feeling very good about themselves, coming off the win against Milwaukee. So I would think things would be quiet following tonight's game.
It's interesting how the focus when you win the games goes to the box score. When you lose the games, all of a sudden the personalities get more attention than anything, and no one's going to care about statements tonight. It was the basketball that did the talking here tonight for the Knicks, and the Knicks are looking forward to the potential of Patrick Ewing returning on Sunday here against Seattle. He's been treated throughout this game in the Knicks locker room.
Ewing is said to be day to day. The Knicks certainly hoping that he can make his return on Sunday for the Sonics. 25 seconds remaining. Childs, Brown shooting. And the Knicks now lead 102-91. P.J. Brown with 21 as the high man for the Nets. And the Knicks hearing it from the crowd as this game winds down. Here's Ward for 3. Well, Charlie Ward hits from downtown. Final seconds. The Knicks now lead 105-91. Brown able to convert, and that will do it. So this first of 4 meetings between the Knicks and the Nets won by the Knicks. to stop the losing streak at 3, and the Knicks now with a record of 20-10, while the Nets drop to 11 up and 18 down. A very impressive second half by the Knicks. Everyone getting into the act. The high man, Hubert Davis, with 16 points. P.J. Brown leading the Nets with 23. Again, the final, the Knicks 105 and the Nets 93.
You never really know when you'll need cash. That's why you need a Discover card. Use your card to get cash during business hours from financial institutions and select merchant locations, or 24 hours a day from thousands of ATMs. The Discover card. Because when you need cash, timing is everything. It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
You think you know talent when you see it? Well, now you can prove it at Foot Locker. You know the game, and you know the players. Now just cruise by Foot Locker and vote your favorites onto the All-Star team. You know the talent, and you know where to vote. Piece of cake.
Nobody does it like you. Like you.
It pays.
So it's over. The losing streak, that is. It ends at 3 tonight at Madison Square Garden in a game that showed little intensity on New Jersey's part and a very strong effort by the Knicks off the bench. And come roaring back to life, Charles Smith. He was strong, 6 of 11 from the floor, blocked 3 shots, grabbed 3 rebounds, scored 13, and drove Sean Bradley crazy because he pulled him outside and hit the shot. Charles Smith, the fans love him again. He left to a mild ovation as Don Nelson gave him a very hard-earned pat on the back. And yes, you got to give Don Nelson credit. He used every single Knick player tonight, and there was a lot of team spirit. This was a great way for the Knicks to put the conflict of the team meeting behind them. And he also was shrewd in his use of Charles Smith. And maybe he indicated that his use of Smith would change yesterday when he told us this.
I'm certainly here to take responsibility for some of the problems that he's having. It's, you know, it's probably some things that I've done maybe and not going to his strength and maybe playing him inconsistently. And, you know, I can certainly take some responsibility for him not being comfortable, but and I'm willing to do that. That's not a problem for me at all. But I think the main thing is, you know, to try to get him playing well, and that's something we try to do every game. I think his confidence is down right now, and you know, we're just trying to keep it up.
Don Nelson always surprising us. This game was tied heading to the 4th quarter. He had Gary Grant on the floor and Charles Smith and Doug Christie, and these were the guys that ignited the Knicks taking control of the game. New Jersey playing a very sloppy second half. I'll be joined by one of the Knicks, we think, and we'll also have our usual post-game coverage. But first, a look ahead with Deb Kaufman. Deb?
All right, thanks, Al. We do have a big story away from the NBA tonight. Don Shula, the winningest coach in NFL history, just hasn't won enough in recent years, and he is out as head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Reports out of South Florida are that Shula will step down, resign sometime in the next couple of days after 33 years as an NFL head coach, 26 in Miami. It officially became official today. Kenny Rogers signs as a New York Yankee. The left-hander was introduced today. Bob Page will have more with the lefty later tonight on the desk. The player who the Islanders gave up, Pierre Turgeon, scored a goal against his old team tonight, the second one of the night. Wendell Clark got his 19th, but it's now 2-1 Montreal. There are about 6 minutes to go in the 3rd period there. In college football, UCLA, acting quickly after being turned down by Northwestern's Gary Barnett, has hired their own offensive coordinator to replace Terry Donahue. Bob Toledo gets the job. He's been in the college coaching business for 25 years. And an announcement today, Penn State will battle USC in next year's kickoff classic that's played every year here at the Meadowlands. Stay with us. We'll see you in the post-game report. Our coverage on MSG continues after this.
How does Minoja stay on top?
Do you think that I'd zoom the...
Pager from Nobody Beats the Wiz. Excuse me, I've got to use the phone.
Very nicely done by all 11 Knicks who played. 7 in double digits. The Knicks win it by a score of 105-93. In a starring role, early minutes of the fourth quarter, Doug Christie with the feed from Charles Oakley, one of the highlights of the game. And when he wasn't doing it inside, Christie's energy kept the Knicks going from the outside. 3 of 7 from the floor, rebounds, a block shot, and 7 points for Doug Christie, who got a lot of support from the starters, his teammates who were on the bench waiting to greet him, and had a few fives in that timeout. And Doug Christie joins us on the floor. And Doug, this is, you know, you say 7 points and a couple of rebounds, but you were on the floor with that very strange group of players that Don Nelson created at the fourth quarter, and it was your energy and hustle that turned this game around. It looked as though you were playing like you wanted to finish the fourth quarter, too.
Well, you know, we did. I think that the guys who come in off the bench, we know that we come in for energy and we come in to try to keep the momentum going, or if we're, you know, lacking the momentum, to get some.
I don't think I ever see the Knicks starters as happy as when you guys are in the game doing great things.
You know, they really support us because we try to support them. You know, we get up and, you know, wave the towels and give them 5 even when things aren't going well. And the same thing in practice. We try to push them and make them better. So they want good things for us also.
That alley-oop we saw between you and Charles Oakley, he had a big grin on his face after that. Why?
Good, because he knows how to throw them, and in practice he's thrown me a couple, so he knew that it would work probably.
Doug, do you think that Don Nelson had a plan to make this a big team win? He used 11 guys, 7 in double digits. I mean, if you want to put some bad stuff behind you, this seemed like a great way to do it.
Well, you know, when things start working for you, you have to keep rolling with them and just see how things are going to turn out. And I think that once we got in there and we kind of got a little momentum behind us, he said, okay, let's see what they can do and keep going. And then, you know, you got to know when to pull the plug also, and he pulled back and put some of the regular starters in and kept the lead and won the game.
How are you feeling about things? You know, your agent talks to Ernie, you're not getting the minutes. There was that frustrating period for you a while ago. Have you settled in and sort of just decided to take it the way it is, or you're looking for something else?
Well, you know, the biggest thing I think was in the year '96. I just give all praise to God, and I just said, okay, I'm going to work hard, and if anything goes wrong, it won't be because of hard work. So what I'm doing right now is just going to try to work hard, and whatever happens, it's just going to happen.
So put us in your head a little bit. You know, it's not easy to come into a game when you don't know if you're going to play, let alone you come into a tight game like this with the team in the midst of a losing streak. Describe for me the satisfaction that you feel that you delivered exactly what the team needed, and you did good for yourself in the process.
Well, I think it can be summed up in just the faces of the starters. You know, seeing them smile and seeing them cheer me on, that's the satisfaction right there, because whether we win or lose, as long as we stay together and we play hard, we're going to be successful because we have a good team.
Yeah, and I bet you guys feel great for Charles Smith in the game he had, too.
Definitely. Yeah? You know, the crowd cheered him on the way out, so it was a good way to end it.
Hey, Doug, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations. Doug Christie of the New York Knicks, a big part of the energetic surge that took the game in the favor of the Knicks over in the fourth quarter. Well, we'll have our post-game report coming up, but first, to wrap up our game coverage, let's go to Marv Albert.
All right, Al, yes, Doug Christie so significant in the Knicks victory tonight. 16 minutes for Doug, 3 of 7 from the field. He had 7 points as the Knicks got the scoring from a number of different sources. 7 players in double figures, and the Knicks beat the Nets 105-93 to stop the losing streak at 3. They now are 20-10. They look ahead to the Seattle Supersonics here Sunday night at Madison Square Garden, 8 o'clock start. MSG game night at 7:30. First of 2 against the Sonics this season. That's a hot Seattle club that has won 6 in a row. They are the leaders in the Pacific Division. The Knicks post-game report is next. Marv Albert with John Andres saying so long from Madison Square Garden.
New York Knicks basketball has been brought to you by Beechwood Age Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you. By Foot Locker, where it all begins. By the Discover card. It pays to discover, the card that pays you back. By Hoover, the #1 name in floor care. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody. And by the United States Postal Service. We deliver smart solutions for you.
Boom, laka, boom, laka, laka, laka. Here's Ewing. Dot. Boy, what a beauty. Hey, hey, hey. You're gonna feel that too. I want to take you higher. Next on MSG will take you higher. Look out. Boom, laka, 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 boom, laka, laka, laka.
There's nothing else quite like it anywhere in sports. Passion, power, skill, and school spirit create the atmosphere you'll only find in the world of college basketball. It's another great season of tournaments and matchups from conferences all across the country. Catch some of the great teams and great players as they battle it out on the road to the Final Four. Northwestern heads for Michigan to take on the Wolverines in a Big Ten Conference showdown Saturday afternoon right here on MSG. The New York Knicks postgame report is brought to you by Citibank. For banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
Isn't that great how Mike Breen gets off the radio and goes right to the MSG studios? This is the New York Knicks post-game report as we welcome you back to the Garden. The Knicks winning tonight 105-93 over the New Jersey Nets, who have now lost 4 of their last 5. The Knicks end their 3-game losing streak in very impressive fashion tonight. Hard-working, well-distributed by Don Nelson. And this right here, this is a Rembrandt. This is a masterpiece that Don Nelson helped create tonight through, obviously, the work of his players. 7 Knicks in double digits. They shoot almost 51% from the floor and totally outwork New Jersey. The highlights on tonight's win with Deb Kaufman.
All right, thank you so much, Al. Well, the Knicks have done a lot of talking off the court in recent days, but head coach Don Nelson tonight made a statement of his own. He goes with an unusual lineup down the stretch, and it works. The Knicks get a good effort from their bench and net a much-needed victory, 105-93. They do end that 3-game losing skid, and the Garden fans say hello to the Nets and get their first look at Sean Bradley in a net uniform. Working against Herb Williams, he gets him to leave his feet and will hit the off-balance jumper in the foul. Bradley was awkward, but he got 10 in the first half. Don Nelson looks on as the Nets led early 17-6, but after a timeout, the Knicks put together a 13-0 run. Anthony Mason taking matters into his own hands. Count the basket and the foul. He had 9 in the first half. Doug Christie, a big story tonight. Charles Oakley will find Christie on the back cut for the alley-oop, and it was 27-25 Nets just by 2 after 1. To the second quarter, Bradley again on Herb Williams. Does a few ball fakes. Gets Herb again off his feet and spins as he hits the jumper, and he was very awkward, but the Nets led by 3. The Nets put together an 11-3 run to close the first half. Ed O'Bannon looking good there, the rookie out of UCLA. It was the Nets by 6 at halftime. In the third quarter, Kenny Anderson in transition spots P.J. Brown in the corner. Derek Harper starts this one, and John Starks will finish it off. The game was tied after 3. Big sequence here, interestingly enough. First, 7'6" Sean Bradley. His numerous attempts to score down low misses each and every time. The last one blocked by Charles Smith, who really picked it up in the second half. A momentum switch when Armand Gilliam was ejected. Once again, Oakley and Christie get together on the back door, beating Ed O'Bannon. Knicks by 7 now, 82-75. An unimpressive night for Kenny Anderson. He turns it over to Gary Grant, and Gary Grant finds Hubert Davis, who will stop and hit the 3. The crowd loves it at the 14-3 run. The Knicks led by 9. Charles Smith found his game tonight. Gary Grant finds Smith cutting on the pick and roll. 13 points and 3 blocks for Smith. Christie had a career night. Doug Christie spots up and nails the 3. His first of the year. 7 points is his high for the year as the shot clock runs down there. The Knicks go on to win a 105-93, and Kenny Anderson and the Nets take the loss. To the Bulls and the Hornets now. Alan Bristow and the Hornets tonight. The latest victim for Chicago, Michael Jordan.
For the rebound, pitches the ball out here
to Ron Harper.
Harp takes the ball down.
To Dennis Rodman, and the Worm had a dozen points tonight, and the Bulls led by 5 at the half. Michael had 17 in the first half, 10 in the third quarter, 3 coming on this play as he explodes past Glenn Rice for the basket and the foul. Terrible defense by Charlotte. Pretty lazy here.
Yeah, nice job. It's supposed to
be around the rim, but that'll
The nice lay in there by Harper, and Scottie Pippen with the easy three. In the fourth quarter, they go on a 13-0 run, and the Bulls win big. What else is new? 117-93. Jordan with 27, Scottie with 14. The Sonics and the Heat go down to the wire, but Seattle wins it by 3. The Bullets beat the Mavs as Dallas loses again. Jimmy Jackson with 33 in the loss. Toronto and Atlanta are in overtime. Christian Laettner, the high scorer in the first, as Minnesota is visiting the Suns. Denver's at Sacramento, where the Kings are 11-4 at home. I'm Deb Kaufman. We'll see you later. The postgame show continues on MSG. Good night.
The New York Knicks postgame report is brought to you by Citibank. For banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
Ewing with the step on Conlon.
The New York State Lottery is a proud sponsor of New York Knicks basketball on MSG Network.
And now the New York Knicks post-game report continues. Charles Smith got 29, or make that 24 minutes tonight, and was outstanding. They're rejecting Ed O'Bannon. He had 3 blocked shots, 3 rebounds, a couple of assists, 13 points, a reverse slam coming up. A little gift from Charles Oakley as he watches the defense sail on by, and he left the cheers here at Madison Square Garden. After the boos of the last game, Charles Smith is the Hoover player of the game. 13 points, 6 of 11, 3 blocks. Did a great job defensively on Sean Bradley as the Knicks overcome an 11-point first-half deficit to win this one 105-93. Now we'll take you through the scoring summary of this game. As I said before, 7 Knicks in double digits. Here's the top of the list. Hubert Davis getting 29 minutes, 16 points, 8 of them from a perfect night at the line. Charles Smith with his numbers. Anthony Mason got 13 points, grabbed 7 rebounds, and added 6 assists. Very nice. John Starks had 13. Charles Oakley had 12. As the Knicks starters did not get the huge number of minutes that they're used to, Don Nelson using 11 different Knicks tonight. The story for the Nets, P.J. Brown had 23. Armand Gilliam had 19. Bradley, 13 points. Edwards had 9. O'Bannon had 9. Kenny Anderson, you might want to rethink that $40 million thing. 1 for 9 on the night, 5 points for him. So the Knicks are able to come from behind, as I said, and beat the New Jersey Nets tonight and begin a new streak, perhaps. They'll be heading to Washington on Friday. If you're wondering what Don Nelson has to say about tonight's effective win, here goes.
Well, we needed that, didn't we? Really sustained our defense tonight. I was really pleased with that. You know, I have no complaints really about the game. Even in the first half, I thought we were playing well, playing real hard, and win or lose, you know, an effort like that would have been fine with me. But we needed the win very badly, and we got it, so I'm real happy about that. Very pleased with Doug Christie, where he's kept his head up enough where, you know, he's worked hard in practice and understands now, I think, what I need from him, and I felt real comfortable with him tonight. I started playing him, I think, in the Washington game a little bit, get his nose wet, and I think we can anchor on a couple of things. I feel real comfortable with him, and hopefully now he can grow into some consistent minutes as we go along, because he's a very skilled player, and he can do a lot of things for us. So that was real nice to see, and it came at a good time for our ball club. And Herb Williams, I can't say enough about him. Same thing, you know, he hasn't had a chance to play very much, stepped in and followed our game plan perfectly, and it helps when he makes a couple of shots out there to make the game plan look good. But I thought he was a big factor in getting this off to a good start. So anyway, very pleased with the effort, and hopefully we can now build on this and get back to our winning ways. Any questions?
Coach, what about the performance of Charles Smith tonight?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Charles. Sorry about that. Yeah, he really needed a good game, and again, it came at a really good time for us. You know, he took over for Herb when we rested Herb early and got off to kind of a shaky start, but Second half, you know, he did exactly what I asked him to do. He built on the defensive end first, not the offensive end, and then the offense just started rolling for him. And that's what I want him to do. You know, if I can keep him on the floor defensively where he doesn't make errors and does the job that he's supposed to do, and he's aggressive there. I told him, you know, I don't even care if he gets some fouls. I'll play him with fouls. So don't worry about, you know, if he has 3 or something. I'm not a coach who, you know, believes in that philosophy. Anyway, I was real pleased with that. I thought the second half, he really got into it defensively. Then his offense started rolling, and he had an outstanding game.
Coach, with the bench in the second half, was it just a matter of staying with them because they were playing so well?
Well, like I said many times, you know, I kind of, within reason, I coach the score. And the guys were doing a good job. We kept increasing our lead. I went with it, and so it was a team that was playing well together. So we got a chance to rest our starters, and then, of course, like I said, within reason, I put a couple guys back in there. But very pleased with, you know, with that fact, too. That's really nice when your bench can win the ball game for you.
Why do you suppose so many guys who either hadn't been going well or hadn't been having chances all were able to step up tonight?
Well, I don't really know the answer to that question, but you know, you're the consistent minutes to break out of his slumps, and it's just a matter of time because he has a skill that he does that. And so I'm not surprised at his effort. I kind of expected him to play this way all year, but Doug Christie is a guy that hasn't had that opportunity, and you know, when he's able to step in and play those kind of productive minutes without the consistent playing time to get out of a slump or to make a contribution. You know, and same with Monty and same with Charlie, really, although Charlie's had more opportunities. You know, that's a big-time effort. And so I think, really, our focus, I know it's probably going to be on Charles Smith, but to me, it should be on Doug Christie tonight.
Coach, are you?
So Nick City is a happy place again. Charles Smith had a smile on his. He got 24 minutes and was a big factor, as you heard Don Nelson discuss. Michael Kay is coming out of the locker rooms, and we're back in a moment.
The New York Knicks postgame report is brought to you in part by Midas, who asks you to stop in for an undercar inspection. It's the Midas way, the way it should be.
Modell's is a proud sponsor of New York Knicks basketball on MSG Network.
Save me! Save me! Save me! I'm being held.
Every critical step of your remodeling project, designed to fit your budget. Jarrow Builders has been providing quality remodeling work for over 29 years and offers a 3-year warranty on workmanship and materials. Call Jarrow Builders today at 1-800-REMODEL and begin to work with the best.
The Bud Dunk of the game is brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you.
And the Bud Dunk of the game, it was a Charles Smith kind of night. You'll get the idea as he fakes Sean Bradley, gets him leaning in, and then blows on by. That's a Bud Dunk of the game if ever I have seen one. Nets losing to the Knicks tonight, 105-93. Michael Kay has emerged from that Knick locker room. How was it? Were they jubilant?
Not really. I think they handled it the right way. This is a win that they had to have. Very businesslike.
Now, I know one Knick tried to put this entire evening in perspective, didn't he?
He made sure people didn't get too giddy. He leaned over to me and said, well, let's not get too wild here. It was a New Jersey Nets. It's a game we're supposed to win.
And that's the way the Nets know that the Knicks feel about the Nets.
Absolutely, and they've earned that.
Anthony Mason wasn't talking?
Mason wasn't talking, and Oakley wasn't talking. They both said we have nothing to say.
Interesting. What's your take on that?
I think that pretty much the meeting that the Knicks held yesterday, a couple of Knicks will talk about that, we'll see. They pretty much, I think, said, hey, let's keep it among the teammates. If you have any complaints, let's talk it amongst ourselves. And I don't think Mason wanted to say the wrong thing. I don't think Oakley wanted to say the wrong thing, because the last couple of games, with the cameras rolling in there, those were the two guys that said the wrong thing.
Well, it was a great night for the Knicks bench, as you heard Don Nelson say. Yes, Doug Christie and Hubert Davis, but Herb Williams, who came off the bench to start tonight, and he came up big. Here's what he had to say.
Does the team get a little juiced when the guys that aren't used that much go in and contribute as much as they did?
Especially when they play well, especially Doug, Monty, Charles, hasn't been playing well of late, but he came in, played a big game for us today. You're just happy for guys. I mean, anytime they go in and you can get something out of some guys that don't normally play, you got to think that's a plus for the team.
Herb, you've been around this game a long time. When you see guys start to maybe lose the feeling of the word team, do you shake it off? Is it something being made of nothing?
What about using the word team?
No, just guys maybe not doing what's right for the team, maybe talking to guys they shouldn't be talking to or pointing fingers. Do you think that's a problem?
No, I don't think it's a problem. I think some things got blown out of proportion. As you know, we had a team meeting yesterday. A lot of things came out. Guys said what was on their mind. And that's what you need. I mean, you don't need to be voicing your opinion in the paper. And I think guys said things that kind of got misinterpreted, and guys kind of took it the wrong way. But you got to feel that you can come and talk to your teammates at any time. If you can do that, things are going to be all right.
It would be very difficult, if not impossible, to try and calculate the value of one Herb Williams. And we've said this now for a few years, back again, playing less minutes than ever, not saying anything, being very diplomatic about how this team should and shouldn't act during this mini crisis that they had. And coming up in a game like this, just to go over the line, he played 26 minutes, shot 5 of 8, scored 10 points, blocked 3 shots, grabbed 4 rebounds. He was really the factor of the first half.
And he's also a very quiet presence, even when he doesn't play, what he does against Patrick in practice, and he brings a professionalism to this team. And while that cut was just on, Al and I were just talking about, not many teams can bring a Herb Williams off the bench.
No, not many, if any. I mean, you could mention a Sabonis who probably should be starting. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. You spoke to Butch Beard.
Butch Beard, he pretty much, not in so many words, but questioned his team's professionalism down the stretch. He said, we lost our composure. He said, and that's the perception of this team around the league. He said, obviously the perception from the Knicks about us, and we didn't do anything to show them any different. He said, we'll see what kind of professionalism we have tomorrow when we come out, and we'll see how we play.
Yeah, the net games that I've seen so far this season, this one had a very similar script. You know, they start off early, and then you look down at that shooting percentage on the season, you say 41%, wait a minute, 5 of 6, this is going to change, and then suddenly it does. They get a little sloppy, and Kenny Anderson continues to be an absolute mystery.
It was a weird game for Anderson, Al. He didn't show anything out there. You look at his line, it's pretty bad, and he didn't seem to have any energy, and towards the end, he seemed more frustrated than anything. And I was sitting on the Knicks bench side at that point. You could really hear fans getting on him. Everybody's throwing that $40 million figure at him.
And I'd say I don't get Butch Beard's use of Jason Williams. 12 minutes tonight. One of the better players they have. He's playing well, but he's just not getting the minutes. Anyway, we're post-game here on the night the Knicks were able to end their losing streak and beat the New Jersey Nets. We're coming back on MSG 105-93, the final numbers. And what is coming up on MSG is the sports desk. Looking ahead for the Knicks, the Sonics will provide the opposition. That is Sunday. Knicks game night beginning our coverage at 7:30. Can't join us. Mike and Clyde are on the fan. As I mentioned, what is coming back and coming up is the Coors Light Sports Desk report. The Yanks make it official, and Ink Kenny Rogers. He met the media today here in New York. Don Shula, is he stepping down? An update and a complete NBA wrap-up with the same story from around the NHL. Bob Page, the Silver Bullet, will anchor it. As the New Jersey Nets head back across the river, their record has fallen to 11-18. Doug Christie coming off the bench with his bench mates and providing an early fourth quarter spark. That one from long range. That's when the Knicks took control of the game. The producer of Knicks basketball is Howie Singer, director Bob Lewis, executive producer Mike McCarthy. For all of us, thanks for joining us. Good night.
Guests receive the American Express gift check. Think of it as a universal certificate that can be used to buy just about anything, just about anywhere. It is the more thoughtful way to give the gift of money. American Express gift checks are available where American Express traveler checks are sold. Our celebrity guest will receive dinner for 2 at Martini's Restaurant with New York City's largest outdoor cafe. Located at 53rd Street and 7th Avenue, another fine Reese Restaurants. And some guests receive a Fendi Roma, the 900 series. Unique design, enduring quality, Swiss-made, registered model, water resistant to 5 atmospheres. Fendi Roma, for today, for tomorrow, forever. Available at selected Macy's and Bloomingdale's.
Put on your helmet. Huh? Because this year, Bud Bowl's putting you in the game. Huh? You could win a Wilson football. Cool. Or even $1 million. Whoa. Hey, you. Who, me? Yeah. Look, it's first down, and one of these 6 plays will score. Knock it in there. Whoa. End around. That's easy.
Yeah, just got to get by us.
Nope. Oh. Pick up your $1 million play card where you buy Bud, Bud Light, and Bud Ice.
He's fine. Cupcake, I got 5 more plays. Give up.
Come on, Mom, you go in. I'll be in. I pay the bills in this.
We'll look back at the few Knicks who played host in the Garden tonight to rapidly improving Sean Bradley and his New Jersey Nets. We also go out to the Coliseum, where the Islanders were not happy to see ex-teammate Pierre Turgeon back with the Canadiens. Those stories, plus Mike Crispino with more creeping commercialism in sports, and much more next on Sports Stats. Hi, everybody. Speaking, I guess, of creeping commercialism in sports, this is Bob Page. Welcome you to the Coors Light MSG Sports Desk. A little bit late tonight due to the length of Knicks basketball here on the network. We begin with a big story out of South Florida where the end of an era in the National Football League is upon us. Longtime and well-respected Miami sports media personality Hank Goldberg reported earlier today that Don Shula would resign in the next couple days as head coach of the Dolphins. Goldberg says this decision was reached after Shula met with Dolphins owner Wayne Huizenga last night. Now, at first, neither party would confirm this story, but then later this evening, another Miami sportscaster, Jimmy Cefalo, you remember him, a one-time Dolphins wide receiver under Shula, did reach Shula, and Don Shula confirmed the story. He will quit. Shula is, of course, the winningest coach in the history of the National Football League, but simply has not been able to produce another Super Bowl winner for the Dolphins in more than 20 years now. It clearly has been time for him to retire. Question now is whether Huizenga will turn to Jimmy Johnson, who has made no secret of his desire to coach eventually in Miami. If Huizenga wants to get to the Super Bowl, he, of course, will do just that, even over the opposition of Don Shula, who is very resentful of Johnson and what he sees as Johnson's blatant ambitions. A big story at home here today as well, as the Yankees formally signed Kenny Rogers to a 4-year, $20 million free agent deal, flanked by latest Yankees manager Joe Torre. The former Texas Rangers lefty was introduced at an afternoon stadium news conference. He's publicly said he doesn't like New York. So our Michael Kay asked, why the Yankees?
I think it was my best chance to get the ring that I want. And this, coming to the Yankees with a history, this is going to be my best chance by far in the next years to come, while I think I'm capable of helping a team out.
Although Rogers has never pitched well in New York, that strikeout notwithstanding, Texas pitching coach Claude Osteen helped make him tough on everybody else.
Kenny Rogers, I can just compare what he used to be and what he is now. He used to be a hard thrower coming out of the bullpen for the Texas Rangers. And then all of a sudden, and I believe he credits Claude Osteen with a lot of the success he's had because he's turned him into a pitcher. And I remember facing Osteen. You know, little of this, little of that, jam you on your hands with the fastball, and that's what Kenny Rogers is. He still throws hard enough to throw the ball by you, but he saves it for a situation, and he basically has, stays away, keeps it down, throws the breaking ball. You know, he has the whole, complement of stuff. But again, he's more of a pitcher now as opposed to a thrower when he used to come out of the bullpen.
Rogers apparently has made a quick adjustment to our weather. The question is whether he'll adjust to tough New York fans, media people, and of course to George Steinbrenner.
I've dealt with pressure my whole life, in different areas from where I came from. I've done a lot of things that people don't have no idea about, but I've dealt with quite a bit, and I'm sure I can handle whatever comes my way here. And then at the end of the season, I hope everyone's happy that I'm here.
Do you think his makeup is compatible with New York? Is that a worry of you?
Well, it's only a concern if he's concerned. You know, it's not really a makeup because, whether you're playing in New York or L.A. or Chicago or in Texas, you still have to go to the ballpark. You still have to face 9 guys on the other team, and it's baseball. So as long as he can keep his mind focused on the fact that it's baseball, and not try to be more than he is, then I think we're fine. Now, if he tries to impress people because he's making a lot of money and, he's a Yankee, which, tends to make you feel that you want to do superhuman things, then there's a concern. But we'll keep an eye on that. I think inside, what he has inside him, he's definitely capable of pitching anywhere. And, again, I think it's important for our ball club to get off to a good start to to sort of have everybody feel good about themselves.
Paul O'Neill will be happy to have Rodgers on his side. And David Cohn actually helped recruit him. Rodgers will be much needed.
The American League East is going to be one of the most exciting, the toughest divisions in baseball. You got, Baltimore has really improved itself. You got Boston, who won the division last year. We feel we've improved ourselves. You got, Detroit and Toronto. It's going to be exciting.
Yes, well, Bob, it should be real exciting. The first few times Kenny Rogers is knocked out of the box early, or the first losing streak he hits. Real exciting when the boss gets all over him on the back pages of the New York tabloids. They don't have those in Texas. But then, as they say, you make your bed, you lie in it. Kenny Rogers is a mercenary, plain and simple. A guy who has said how much he dislikes New York. A Texas Ranger who received a multi-million-dollar offer to remain with Texas, but sold out for a couple million more to jump to the Yankees. And after rooting against Rogers all these last years, Yankee fans are now just supposed to welcome him with open arms and root for him. Ah, yes. Few loyalties, guys jumping teams at every opportunity for the next highest bidder, with the cost always passed on to you fans. It is sickening. When the Yankees turned to Rogers instead, that left the other big free agent lefty, Chuck Finley, still out in the market. To his credit, he did sign with the California Angels today, re-signed with them a 3-year deal, or perhaps he just couldn't get the money he wanted from the Yankees. And former Met Brett Saberhagen is reportedly headed for more shoulder surgery. A new operation, they say, might well keep him out of action for the entire 1996 season, if not threaten his career. I'll be back right after we pause for these messages.
Coors Light Sports Desk is brought to you by Coors Light. Aged ice cold for that pure taste of the Rockies. Reach for the silver bullet, the right beer now.
Garden has been a veritable graveyard over the years for the New Jersey Nets, but if they were ever going to beat the Knicks here, tonight was probably the night, with Patrick Ewing sidelined once again due to his ankle problems. And the Nets did indeed lead most of the way, but as seen here on MSG tonight, New Jersey fell apart down the stretch. Gee, have we heard that before somewhere? In what was eventually a 105-93 loss. Knicks fans getting their first look up close and personal at Sean Bradley in a Nets uniform, working against Knicks starting center Herb Williams. Gets it to go. Don Nelson looking on as New Jersey led early, 17-6. After a timeout, the Knicks put together a 13-0 run, though. Anthony Mason, taking matters into his own hands, drives past P.J. Brown, lays it in. He had 9 in the first quarter. And how about Doug Christie? Suddenly inserted into the game and played very well. Charles Oakley finds the seldom-used reserve on the back cut for the alley-oop. Beleaguered Butch and company, 27-25, trailing going into the second quarter, where Bradley, moving in again, spins, puts it in. He had 13 points, 9 rebounds, 5 blocks. Nets by 3. Nets now on an 11-3 run to close the half. Eddie O'Bannon scored 5 of those points. 55-49. Don Nelson and company trailed going into the third quarter. Kenny Anderson in transition, makes the pass across. P.J. Brown drains the jumper. Jersey by 7. The Knicks close the third with an 11-4 spurt. Derek Harper cuts off the Anderson drive. John Starks, loose ball, jams it. Score tied going into the fourth. And now, here's Bradley. Numerous attempts to score down low. Finally blocked on his last try by Charles Smith, who played well tonight. Later on, after Armin Gilliam had been ejected from the game by the officials, once again, it is Charles Oakley and Doug Christie who get together, beating Eddie O'Bannon on the backdoor alley-oop jam. Knicks by 7, 82-75. What an awful night for Kenny Anderson. The Leaf Rack City native shot just 1 for 9, turns it over there to Gary Grant, who finds Hubert Davis for 3 of his team-high 16 points. Crowd loving a 14-3 run. Knicks up 89-80. Smith criticized so much of late. Really warmed the fans up to him tonight. Grant finding him there. Charles had 13 points, 3 blocks. And Christie with a career night, spotting up, nails a 3 with a shot clock running down. All told, considering the fact that Ewing was out, pretty good performance by the Knicks in defeating Kenny Anderson and the Nets.
To be serious, I'm not ecstatic about the game like it was the greatest game I've ever played or anything. I mean, I played a good game. I mean,
I was able to get into a flow and able to get it done, and that's the bottom line to it. I'm not satisfied like, okay, this is it. No, I got to continue to try to make it happen, and like I said, when I'm out there, you know, just try to knock them down and just try to play the best I can play. That's all I can do.
Also in the NBA tonight, Chicago continued to roll after beating Houston at home last night. They flew to Charlotte and still just hammered the Hornets, 117-93. Michael had 27 to lead all scorers. The Bulls are now 27-3, best record in the NBA. Seattle has won 7 straight games now. They lead the Pacific at 22-8 after defeating the Heat in Miami tonight, 84-81. Dallas over Washington over Dallas, I should say, 112-100. And Atlanta defeated Toronto in overtime, 104-101. Minnesota playing at Phoenix tonight, trailing by 5 in the third quarter. And Denver at Sacramento rounds out tonight's schedule in the NBA. Another embarrassment for always clueless Philadelphia 76ers owner Harold Katz and his always laughable team. Tonight, the 76ers waived guard Jeff Malone. What on earth, as everyone asked at the time, were the Sixers thinking about when they traded Jeff Hornacek to Utah not even 2 years ago for Malone? Malone is now 34 years old. The Sixers claim he is washed up, but so what? If Malone has got some life left in him, he could help the Knicks, who need more offensive firepower. We'll continue right after we pause again for this timeout.
Providence visits St. John's to battle the storm in a Big East Conference showdown. Saturday night, right here on MSG. MetLife is a proud sponsor of Rangers hockey on MSG Network, also known as Ranger Country.